Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live coverage of the ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020. We're getting you live coverage of the Chess Championship on One Play Sports, the first ISF World School Championship to be held in the year 2020 is the game of chess. Hello, everyone. I'm Chaitanya Sant, and joining me as our expert and commentator is the former World Junior Girls Champion and Women Grandmaster, Soumya Swaminathan. Hi, Soumya,
Hello,
the last day of
everyone.
our broadcast, and it's the Under 17 boys finals today.
Yes, hi Chaitanya. I'm super excited to cover the final match of this tournament, the Under 17 Boys Championship. And the last few days have been a lot of fun. And I'm really looking forward to today's games, the final day. It's going to be very exciting.
Yes, it certainly will, because the three finals that we have covered so far, all of them were very exciting. And last night, Under 17 girls, we just did not know what was happening till the 8th round. We had 4 girls still fighting for the top spot, but eventually we had every game, as they say, every tournament needs to have one winner, and that also is something which is promised for today. Under 17 boys category, a little bigger boys than under 14 ones that we saw last Sunday, but we'll expect the same talent and the same entertainment and exciting for all our viewers.
Yeah, definitely. And also, they played very, very fighting chess. I think that also must be mentioned. Yesterday, I was completely in awe of the fighting spirit of all the girls. And that's why I think today I'm even more excited to see what the boys do. And I'm sure today also everyone is going to give a tough fight in every round. And yeah, let's go. Let's see the rankings, maybe the initial seedings of the boys.
Yes, you can have a look at that. In the meanwhile, of the 9 rounds, the first round has begun. Yes, we get confirmation of that. The first round has begun. It's Soren taking on Arash.
Wow. So it's a symmetrical reti opening, and it might transpose to the King's Indian attack. It has actually, because black has opted to go for c5, this c5 d6 setup. So now it has sort of transposed into the King's Indian attack, where white tries to control the center with his pawns. So the c3 is played with the idea to play d4 next. And he will also try to create a kingside attack, whereas black looks for counterplay on the queen side. So that's why black is trying to take a break with b5 on the queen side. He could have played b5 on the previous move instead of bishop d7, but bishop d7 is also logical since white has played h3. He probably also can go queen c8, attacking the h3 pawn. So white goes for d4. Yeah, I think black will take on d4. Or he can even go e5, actually. He can even go e5 and close the center and play some sort of yeah, it will then become a different position actually, because the center will be completely closed. Let's say white goes d5 next, but he goes for queen c8. So he's attacking the h3 pawn now. White can go d5 here, and let's say black replies with knight e5, then he can take on e5. And this structure is supposed to be better for white after knight e5 into e5. So he doesn't go for that. He goes knight a5 instead. King h2 supporting the pawn on h3. Now black can go c4, or he can try to break with e6. Not immediately, since the d6 pawn is hanging after d e6. He could consider that actually e6 d6 bishop into e6 with the idea that if white takes on d6 with the queen, then we have a move like knight b3 even. So he first plays queen c7, protecting the pawn on d6, and he either can play e6 on the next move, or he can even play b5 because now the knight on a5 is also protected with the queen. Oh, he allows e5. That's interesting. So now actually white can play e5, but black has a reply of knight h5 for e5. So that, but then white wins a pawn, right? E5, knight h5, pawn into pawn, bishop into pawn, queen into pawn, and rook into a5. The knight is hanging. So that is a tactic for sure. Let's see if white goes for it. Yeah, he does play e5. Yeah, and now now e into d6 is expected. Makes a lot of sense. Um, but white is thinking for a long time. So what else? Is he considering bishop g5 here? But bishop g5 is a move, but maybe you can play f6 for bishop g5. That's okay for black. He's thinking for a really long time. Did he miss something? Oh, he did not take on d6. Why not? Okay. It's surprising decision. He was winning a pawn after e into d6, bishop d6, queen d6, rook into a5. But he did not go for it. Maybe he did not like after the fact that after rook a5, black goes back knight f6, and maybe black has some compensation. But now f6, right? What if black plays f6? Black is also taking time to make his decision. Now even bishop into e7 is a move because rook into e7, e d6, queen d6, rook e7, queen into e7, and rook a5. Again, white emerges a pawn up. This knight on e5 is the source of botheration in black's position. It's unsupported. Yeah, he goes for it. Because, it's hanging all the time and all the variations. The knight on e5 is the main problem. He goes for it. Right, rook a5, and white is a pawn up. However, his development is still not complete. His knight is still on b1, but definitely has an advantage. Now he can even go d6 and take the c5 pawn. He did not. He played rook a7. That's fine. Mm. Now c4 is a move supporting the passed pawn on d5. Yes, he plays c4. Now black is likely to play knight e4 with the idea to go knight d6. And also bishop on g7 attacks b2. So now queen e2. Yes, queen e2 has been played. And now f5, I think. Or rook e8. Yeah, rook e8 is even better because rook was not doing anything on b8 now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he plays b3, but even knight d2 was a move actually. Uh, right. Now black is threatening knight g3, so white has to be careful. Yeah. Queen a2, he removes the queen from the e file.
It's important
White
for
is
Arash
really
to
low on
keep a
time.
close eye on the clock as well. Yes, White, Arash is
Yeah.
4 seconds. We've seen these errors being committed by under 17 girls yesterday of running out of time. We need to learn from this, standard under 17 boys.
Yeah. Already, actually, for knight d2, he could have taken on f2, but even black missed that. It's fine. Now, rook on e8 is hanging. He should be careful not to blunder.
Mhm.
Rook, yeah, rook d8, he saves it. It's fine. Even king f8 was okay, actually. King g1, now maybe, now goes back knight c3. It's a good move. Now knight e2, maybe. Check. Okay, he goes back rook e8. Now h5. Create a. Okay. He exchanges. But now d6. He allows d6. Now queen d7. Black will play knight g5. Okay, queen e1 now, maybe. Queen e1. Queen e2 he goes for. But d7? Oh, white is winning now. He should not have allowed it. He should have given queen e1 check. I think it was a mouse slip. It was, I think it was a mouse slip by black. He definitely wanted to give a check on e1 and he just put the queen on e2. That's my guess. Anyway, a good fight by both sides, and I think it was decided in the time pressure because
Yeah.
there were a lot of tactics going on, and white just was one more ahead.
So many aspects to take care of in the mouse control, as someone was mentioning, because this is online chess. So you need to be careful with the cursor on the laptop or with the mouse in your hand, and that's how you have to be careful with every move that you make, or else it can
Yeah.
easily cost you a match. And quickly move on to another game that is being played. That's
Yeah, so black is winning here
here.
because he's a piece up. So he was winning the piece by force because he had a very strong pass pawn. And now he'll comfortably win this position. Now he must take on. Okay, that's a strange decision. He could have taken on g5 actually. This is also fine, but maybe he just. Oh, now bishop c1 is stalemate. He has to be careful. Bishop c1 would have been stalemate. Yeah, this is winning. Oh, bishop h4 is again stalemate. Okay, this could be tricky.
It's this is still not
Wow.
over. It's still a close
Yeah, he
contest.
needs. Yeah, now black understood that he cannot keep the king on h3, otherwise it will be a stalemate. So he has gone back with his king, and now he will simply. Now the king has to move from g4. So black will play king f5, then king g5 even, and take pawn on h5, and then g6, and win this game. That was a good trick by white, though, to play for stalemate. And in time pressure, you never know. It's easy to miss it.
Oh yes, that's
Yes.
that's it. Black wins. Good contest there till the end, and I think this should be the last game of the first round. We'll just quickly head over back to tournaments. Any more match? Yes, there's one more that is still being played. The last 20 seconds that remain.
Yeah, this endgame is winning for white. King b6. Okay. He will take opposition first. Now king b6. Okay, b4 is fine. Now king c7. King a7. Okay, first b5 maybe.
All
And
about
now king
survival for black.
b6. King e7, king c7, and b6. And this is winning. Right. So this is an upset in the first round because White was the lower rated player in this match, and there was a 400 points difference, which is quite a lot in chess. So kudos to White for
Yes, so that's the standings
defeating
at the
a
end of the
higher rated
first
opponent.
round, and we have 19 boys who have a perfect score at the end of the first round. It's still early days, just the first round, 8 more rounds to go, but still we have 19 boys who have won their first match, 100% score for them.
That's cool. So there have been no draws in the first round. All of them were decisive. All the games were decisive.
Yes, good observation. That so
And
either there's one person winning, or the other at least saying that okay, that's it, resigning. But we don't have a draw in the first round. So we have 19 of them with one score, and the remaining all are on zero. So that's the end of the first round, and we'll be beginning with the next round shortly. Also, this is a good time for me to inform all our viewers on One Play Sports. Maybe you're watching on our website, on the website of One Play Sports, on the YouTube channel, or on the Facebook page, that we have women grandmaster Soumya Swaminathan along with us. So any questions that you have, any queries, anything related to chess, we had a lot of questions that were bombarded at Soumya yesterday. So similarly, our page is open today. I'm on Facebook. So any questions that you have in your mind about Facebook, about chess, please post it to us in the comments section on Facebook. So talking of Facebook, your social media feed reminds us that yesterday was a very important day for you. It was quite a flashback. 11 years back, yesterday was
yes.
something big that you achieved. So please tell us about your memory 11 years back, and please tell our viewers everything about what you achieved 11 years back.
It was not the final match of the tournament, by the way, but it
Okay.
was from basically I shared a picture. It's thanks to this Google. They keep a track of what we do our whole life and then keep reminding it to us time to time. It has its pros and cons. It has its pros and cons. So yesterday I was very happy to be reminded by Google that. 11 years ago, I played in Argentina and I won the World Juniors tournament. So it was still going on. The tournament got over on 3rd of November. But there was a photo of mine from 24th of October 2009, which I had saved in my Google Drive or photos, whatever you call it. And, it very politely reminded, 11 years ago, you were in Argentina and this is what you were doing. You were playing chess. So I was very happy to see that photo and to relive the memories of that tournament. Yeah, I'm so serious. Yeah, I felt like when I saw the picture, I felt like I was meditating. I'm so serious and I'm so much in the zone, and I was very happy to just have a look at it after so many years.
Yes, absolutely. Quite a prized possession. These pictures should be for you, because I guess video recording might not have been prevalent back then, or you might have a video recording of it. I'm not sure about that, but you definitely have these
We
pictures that you can keep and cherish.
we actually, so there are two memories related to this video recording. First of all, we had a camera phone at that time. None of us had it, but my coach, our team coach, had an iPhone at that time, and he
Okay.
had recorded some short clips of mine and of the whole team. After I won the tournament, all our reactions, everything. And during the tournament, we had a bet. Okay, we had a bet that if one of us wins the gold, then we will go swimming in the sea on the last day. So,
Okay.
in the process of acknowledging or this bet, all of us went swimming in the sea on the last day, and he forgot to keep the iPhone aside. So the iPhone also went into the sea along with it, and everything was like just done. So we don't have any of the photos, or I mean, we have some pictures, of course, but we don't have any of those video recordings with us. And another memory is that, but this memory itself makes for a good memory, right? Like I don't need
Absolutely,
that
quite a
memory
loss that
anymore.
is. Quite a loss that is. I can understand the gold medal, but losing an iPhone in the sea is is quite a loss.
Yeah, and it makes for a good joke, obviously. And
It does.
another memory of ours is that a legendary chess player, Miguel Naidov, settled down in Argentina after the Second World War, and
Okay.
his grandson had come to cover the tournament. So he made a video or a documentary of us, our team, and everything. I don't know where is it available or anything, but it is available. I know that much. Maybe someday I'll contact him. So yeah, I have these two memories.
Wonderful. Extreme memories, isn't it? Extreme memories. One is filled with pride, and the other is going into the sea and losing an iPhone. But I can imagine
But it was
how
fun.
your
It
coach
has
must
its
have
own
been. Your
fun.
coach must have been very happy that he just forgot about the iPhone. He just had made a promise and then just entered the
He
sea.
was very
Quite a
happy.
moment
He
it
was
must have been
jumping
for the
with
coach.
joy. I think he was happiest, like most expressive out of all of us. He was so happy. Like it's an amazing memory for me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, I can imagine. I mean, your success is fine, but when you have mentored someone and the student of
Yeah.
yours achieves something big, I mean, it is quite an achievement for you as a coach or as a mentor. Right, we'll continue chatting. Till then, we have the second round that has begun. 9 rounds, remember, of the boys' finals under 17 categories. We have Albert taking on Isaac, and not a lot of difference in their rankings as well.
Right. So this Bishop E7 is a rare system in the French Tarrasch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, we saw some French Tarrasch yesterday also, and basically white has more space for sure in the French, but black tries to take some break in the center and undermines white's center. That is the basic theme of the French. And one drawback of playing the French from black is your white squared bishop, the c8 bishop, is locked inside behind all of black's pawns on f7, e6, and d5. That is the main drawback. Uh, but this G5 move is very interesting. He's being very aggressive. He's showing his intentions. He wants to, push back white's pieces. Now, immediately he's threatening G4 and c into d4 and win the pawn on d4. So, uh, white needs to take some decisions right now. Let's see what he goes for. So knight b3 is not possible here because of c4, and you attack both the bishop on d3 and the knight on b3. D into c5 would be very odd because then your e5 pawn becomes weak, and actually black can just take on e5. So he plays knight b1. That's interesting. But what if white plays g4 now? So white is ready to give up the d4 pawn in exchange of the g4 pawn. That's what I understand. So for g4, white will play knight e1 or knight d2 perhaps. Mm, Probably knight e1. And after c into d4, knight into d4, he can take queen into g4. So, okay, white plays h5, preparing g4 so that the pawn on g4 will be protected.
Albert has the advantage of time here, so he's taking his time.
Yeah. Now maybe now the pawn on b2 as well as d4 are attacked.
Mhm.
Can he take on d4 is the question. Let's say black takes c into d4, c into d4, knight into d4. The knight is pinned, but black can play bishop c5 on the next move. So let's say knight c2, bishop c5. But then white can play b4 and he wins a piece. So that's why black did not go for that. He is simply playing for attack, but I don't know how great a strategy it is. Like f4 is a very good move here for sure. He wants to play f5 next, and if black takes m passant, that is g into f3, then white can take queen into f3, and f7 is attacked. Problem with black's position is his development. You know, the bishop on c8. It's going to take him at least moves to develop it, because he cannot develop it immediately. So he needs to first move his knight, then move his
Mhm.
bishop, and then long castle. So this is the main problem. Right now his king is in the center, and perhaps white can take advantage of that. Uh, so now knight c5 would lead to b4. So knight c5 is not possible. Black will move his queen to c7 perhaps. But then white can play b4. White can play b4 and support the c5 pawn, and then he can go knight d4 on the next move. Yeah, now knight d4 is possible. He was for bishop d4 because the knight moved. The knight on c6 moved away. He goes for bishop d4 instead. h3. Okay, even g3 is fine. Yes. Yeah, g3. There is nothing happening on the king side. White's position is very safe. His king is very safe. Uh, White is much better here for sure. Can black play e5? Super risky, but I was just thinking, since black's position is a little bad already, he needs to be a little desperate already. How about e5 here? E5, pawn into pawn, bishop into pawn. Yeah, he does go for it. Bishop into pawn, knight into pawn. Then you're threatening knight f3, so knight d4. And now bishop into pawn is what I expect. Even knight into pawn is possible, but then even knight into pawn is possible, yes. But then bishop b5. What do you do for bishop b5? I guess you go bishop d7. Um, oh, this was the issue. So now black can either go rook g5 or bishop into g3. Bishop into g3 runs into h into g3, queen g, king h1, and there is nothing. He could have also played rook g5, I think, instead of bishop g6. Just leave the bishop on e5. So how about knight d4 now? That is possible for sure. Bishop b5 is possible. Bishop b5 with the idea to reply bishop d7 with queen e6. Idea queen into g8, because knight on e7 is pinned. So black can play long castle, but then bishop into d7, queen d7, and queen into f6. Yes, that's what happened. And white is going to win a piece now. Okay, rook d7, queen f6. So white is a full piece up. Now knight d4. Okay, he developed his knight on d2, that b1. That was a good idea. Now knight d4 maybe. Yes.
Running out of time. Black just a couple of seconds. He'll have to quickly make his move as Albert.
Yeah.
Whereas
But white is
white is
completely
comfortably
winning.
placed with half a minute. Yes, that's what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, I think Black's opening choice was very desperate. Black's opening strategy of playing this g5, h5, g4, h4, h3. He completely ignored his development and paid a price for it. C6. Okay. But I think black is winning. I mean, there'll be a few checks, and soon white will run out of checks. And oh no, King B5 was a blunder. We should never say never. King B5 was a complete blunder. King B7 he should have played. But then maybe Queen E7 was possible, yeah? Oh, so it was still okay. Now, Queen E5. Oh, white, black managed to trick white, huh? Black managed to trick white. Oh, King C5, no check. Okay. King A6. King A6, yeah, no check. Time to resign. Queen C1, Queen F1. Sorry. Time to resign. Queen E4 now and game over. Arash is very good at tactics, or rather, I would say he's very good at tricking his opponents. That's my observation so far. Even the previous game, I don't remember it exactly, but I remember he tricked his opponent, and even here he did.
I think he'll continue his run of 2 of 2. His Arash will come to the standings after this game, maybe.
In Blitz, it's a very good quality to be tricky. That's the main quality I think to have as a Blitz player. To be able to trick your opponents, because it's not possible to calculate everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is comfortably winning for black. He could have played. Okay, matlab he could have played A2 and that would have been winning immediately. But theek hai.
Yes, in white it's Rishabh Shah from India with a ranking of 39, so he's higher ranked than black. So let's see if Rishabh Shah can do something and get to the top of the leaderboards here. It's difficult, at least in this match right now. Soumya?
Just a moment. No, it's impossible to save it. I think now Bishop C2 and Bishop B3, or okay, now next move Bishop C2 and Bishop B3, and black will make a queen. So yeah.
Yes, so Rishabh has resigned. And with this, yes, the second round is also done, and we have 100% score for the top 10. And many on for the score of 1 as well. So still in the second round, we have 10 who have not lost a single match in their first 2.
Yeah. Boys, the ratings are quite good. I mean, Arash we know is 2400. There are a couple of 2300
Yeah.
players in the top 10 right now. Then couple of 2200 players. So yeah, quite very strong, I guess. Um,
Yes, they are.
will
Now
be
let's see
interesting.
how they keep going in the remaining rounds. The ranking is high, but we've seen quite a lot of upsets in the 3 days of the finals that we have covered. Last weekend was the under 14 boys and girls finals. This weekend is the under 17 boys and girls. Yesterday was the girls finals. And of course, we have the 9 rounds, 7 more to go of the under 17 boys finals. After that, this is the standings at the end of the first 2 rounds. And yes, this is the first ISF World School Championship being held in the year 2020. This year obviously won't be remembered as the year of a lot of sporting activities, but as far as chess is concerned, it can be remembered for school kids, under 17, under 14 kids sitting at home, and ISF giving them a platform to participate in an international tournament and international competition. That is some humongous achievement by the ISF.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, talking about international tournaments, we won the Asian Online Chess Championship today. We won the gold in women, and in men we won the
Okay.
silver medal. So that's a remarkable achievement, and would just like to congratulate on behalf of the ISF team. I would like to congratulate our teams, both our teams, for performing so well.
Absolutely, this is huge, So it's a big congratulations
Yeah.
from ISF and from One Play Sports. So, Mia, could you elaborate
Yes.
and tell our viewers more about our victory today, about India's victory today?
So this tournament was held as a team tournament, and it was held online over the past 1 month. There was initially a qualification stage where 8 players qualified for the knockouts, 8 teams qualified for the knockouts. So India qualified first to the knockouts, then we played the quarters, then semis, and both the teams played the finals today. And in women, we defeated Indonesia with a
Okay.
very comfortable margin, and won the gold. And in men, we lost to Australia and won the silver instead. Of course, Australian team played really well, so full credit to them. And I think both the teams were very strong. We played really well, and it's a lot to be happy about. So, yes.
Absolutely, certainly is. Not a lot of sporting activities taking place this year, but
Yes.
India again, twice in this year, there's been a big achievement for India when it comes
Yeah,
to
so
playing chess.
chess. Yeah, initially we won the FIDE Olympiad, which was the online Olympiad, and it was a mixed team event. So there were in the team there were 2 men players, 2 women players, and 2 juniors, one boy and one girl, and there were also 6 reserves for the same set of players. And whereas this tournament was slightly different in the sense that there were separate categories for men and women, and there was no
Okay.
junior section, so it was just a men's senior team and women's senior team, so it was a more straightforward team selection. But yes, lots to be happy about this year already in terms of chess.
Certainly is quite an achievement there. So congratulations to Team India. And in the meanwhile, we have a question on Facebook from Namrata. And the question, Soumya,
Mhm.
is can I improve my skills by playing chess online? Is
Yeah,
the
for
question
sure.
from Namrata.
For sure. I mean, I think it's the best way practically, because if you can play with a person, uh, like play with a playing partner regularly, maybe you have a neighbor or a friend who lives nearby, then obviously nothing like that. But also in that case, you're going to play against the same player every day, whereas online you get to play against different types of players from different countries. So players from different countries have their own style, because chess culture from your country sort of inspires you to play in a certain way, and that's how your style evolves, right? So I think it's very good to play online and gain experience. And a lot of most of the world's top players play online, so you also get a chance to perhaps play against some of them if you do well. So that's also a motivation. Yeah, yeah. You should play online actually. You should, as much as you can. Even if you don't plan to play online tournaments, at least it's good to play
Mhm.
online practice games and just for fun. It's very, it's it's good fun, obviously, and it's good for your chess as well.
Yes, so that answers the question. Thank you for the question, Namrata. The question was, can I improve my skills by playing chess online? And the answer comes from Soumya. Definitely yes, because that's when you're not playing one person with the one strategy coming over and over again from your opponent. You're playing. You have a wide variety of your opponents with different minds, different strategies, different uh, ways of playing chess. So that eventually helps you in playing with more and more number of people or wider audience, and eventually helps in you increasing the level of your game as well. So, and this is one of those sports. It's something that we have been saying for the past 3 weekends. Is something that you can play online, and you can play it online seriously. I mean, you can play cricket, football also online, but I mean that's just a game. That's just for passing time. You're not going to improve on that skill. But chess, even you can play it online and still improve on your skills there.
By the way, our conversation about which sports can be played online professionally, I think card games like bridge can be played online. Yes.
Yes,
And
yes,
there are some variants of chess like shogi, Japanese form of, which is the Japanese variant of chess. It is like chess, but not chess. And checkers, of course, which is very similar to
yes.
chess, but not chess. I think they can also be played online. So yeah, I was just thinking over it. Couldn't
Yes, I
come
was,
up
I,
with
I
too
was, I'm
many.
just reminded of this on the first day of our qualifications of under 17 girls, if I'm not wrong. We had a question.
Uh-huh.
I somehow missed it, and the question was, why is checkers not as popular as chess? It's a question that had come. I somehow just we were involved in some other discussion, so I could not get the question up. But is there any other reason why checkers is not as popular as chess is?
Because chess is a more like richer game, no? Like there are many more aspects to it, and there are so many more permutations and combinations in
Hmm.
chess compared to checkers, right? Checkers is more like mathematics.
Yeah.
It's about calculation. It is very interesting, but I just feel chess has more depth to it, and that's the reason it's more attractive. It cannot be easily solved. There are
Yeah.
always going to be new problems that are going to come up, and also in general, chess is a very ancient game. So we have this whole history of chess, whole tradition of chess. So there's this social aspect as well, which attracts us to the game. I think both of these reasons make it a more popular game.
Yes, that's right. And yes, coming back to the point there, maybe it is just checkers or card games that can be played online professionally, maybe in an international tournament. But if you talk of school students, maybe it's just chess that we still have been able to come up to a logical answer. Still don't have any other sports that can be played online by school students on an international platform.
Mhm. Yeah, Sudoku
Maybe
maybe,
participate.
and
Yeah,
Rubik's cube.
yes, yes. Rubik's
There are
Cube, I
Rubik's
think
cube
yes. Online,
combinations,
it's similarly. If the
competitions.
camera is
No?
on, you can
Yeah.
do that. Yes, yes. So Rubik's Cube, yes, is something you can do online. And the other thing you said was Sudoku. Yes, you
Yeah.
can you can solve that online. Still a lot of
I have
activities
a
that
app of
through kids can be
Sudoku
done.
on my phone, which keeps
Okay.
me entertained time to time. When you can't sleep at night, you decide to solve some Sudoku, and then you can't sleep for another 2 hours because you're busy solving Sudoku. So that's how
Absolutely.
it works.
Does it help in improving your concentration or strategizing in chess, playing these mind games in Sudoku as well?
I like to believe it does because I really enjoy playing Sudoku. So I just convince myself that it's going to be helpful and play them anyway.
Yes, and as you can see as well on our Facebook and YouTube page, please post in your questions for Soumya. Any questions, any doubts? You're a mother, you want some tips for your child, or you are a teenager and you wish to start learning chess, as something that we are saying that there is no age to start learning chess. There are certain sports that require physical strength, physical stamina, and after a particular age, it is difficult for you to play that sport, but not the same with
Mhm.
chess. And you can start at the age of 4, and you can continue playing as long as you are blessed to live. That's the beauty of chess. Just absolute no age restriction you to start playing chess to compete at an international level. So, any questions of that kind, any queries in your mind, please let us know on YouTube,
Mhm.
on Facebook, on in the comments section. We're beginning with the third round very shortly. Because remember, this is the Swiss system format that's being followed. For the qualifications, there were 11 rounds, and for the finals, there are 9 rounds, and it's the Brits time control format. So it's just 3 minutes, nice and quick. Newer versions of the game coming in. Of course, it's fun for a broadcaster, for us to analyze 3 minutes, and of course, it's very entertaining and exciting for the viewers as well when it comes to quicker formats of playing chess. Yes, in the meanwhile, we have the third round that is about to start. 9 rounds lined up, 2 are done, and we have 10 boys who have won both the first games that they played. So if they can continue doing that, we are promised to have some excitement at the end of round 8, and then hopefully get one winner at the end of round 8. If not, if it's a tie, we don't want it. But if it's a tie, we'll have to decide based on the ratings and the rankings at the end of round 9. Is what we saw last weekend of the under 14 boys as well as girls category, wherein we had a tie, and then of course the rankings were taken into consideration, and that is when we had one winner. Now the same happened yesterday. We saw the under 17 girls finals when there was one clear winner, but we did not know who the winner was till the end of round number 8. Now these are the final results of the girls under 17. So it was Pipia Katerine from Georgia with a score of 7. Have a look at the remaining three. That's Anahita, Zahidifar, Nia, Dongwani, Wan Tian. There was Veronica, there was Sue, there was Motari Asadi, there was Parnian Gumi, and there was Surya Ana Paula. So all of them were very close at the end of round 6. And then only at the end of round 8, we had 4 of them that were the first 3. That is, pardon me, that was PPI Katerina, Anahita Zaidifar, and Nia Dongwani, who was still tied up. And then it was a victory for Katerine in the 9th round that gave us a clear winner. We had a lot of support coming in last evening from the Bahamas as well. So we had a lot of comments. Our Facebook comments page was filled with support from Bahamas. So if you could just scroll on the page, we have a participant from Bahamas who had also participated because, of course, we have participation from 5 continents and over 35 countries. So it's a huge number. So we had a lot of support coming in from maybe friends, family, well wishers of a girl from the Bahamas. A Facebook comments page was filled. We always, of course, had the questions as well, but we had these well wishers and supports that keep coming in, because in the game of chess, there has to be complete silence when the person is playing, and thus all that can do is pray, or you can send your wishes online, maybe hearts and emojis, but you cannot make noise, you cannot make those sounds, you cannot clap, you cannot cheer in front of the two players who are playing the game of chess. Just waiting for the third round to begin, and maybe a break for giving the final of do's and don'ts. And of course, this is a software. It's being played on Premium Chess. That's the virtual competition platform. We can expect some things to go here and there, but we can of course wait. It's important for the tournament to go ahead.
So 2 rounds are over so far, right? Or
Yes, 2 rounds are done.
right, Chaitanya? Two
Yes,
rounds.
yes.
Like probably there's some technical issue, and maybe they're trying to fix it. Maybe from the players' end, or we have to wait. And yeah,
Yes, yes, that's quite possible, and we'll hand it over to ISF They have been brilliant when it comes to conducting chess. Any of these things generally happen in a tournament somewhere that you go, but there are some delays, someone coming late, or the technical meetings, or the setup has taken up time. So you're supposed to start at this time, but something of that happens. It can hamper your mind as well as a player.
Yes, of course, and you need to be calm. I don't know how to be calm, but it does affect you. I played this tournament in 2013 in Hyderabad. It was an open tournament. It was being held in a stadium. Okay.
Okay.
And every day, this happened every day that the lights would go off and they hadn't arranged for a generator backup. And
Okay.
the first time it happened, we were playing the game and I had an almost winning position on the board, and then the lights went, and they kept on delaying the start. They were like, "Let's wait, let's wait, let's wait." Yeah, 2 hours passed. Because the lights went off, the games had to be stopped midway, right? And or
Yeah.
paused, you can say. And then we were waiting for the lights to come back. We were waiting for them to arrange for a generator. Nothing of that sort happened. 2 hours passed, and after 2 hours, they said, "Okay, come back tomorrow and play a fresh game tomorrow." So
Oh, not fair. Not fair at all.
it was crazy, and this happened many times during the tournament that the lights went off. But at least next time onwards, they didn't cancel the game itself, so the game was going to continue. But the first time it happened, they even cancelled the game. That is hilarious.
I
Yeah,
think that's just unfortunate. I mean, that's one of those rare incidents where you'll be fine on the other side of the luck, maybe. All right. Meanwhile, everything's sorted here. It looks like, and we have the third round, which has begun, and we have Mu Yonglin taking on Arash Dagli.
but Arash doesn't seem to know that the game has started because he hasn't. He's not on his
Yeah.
board clearly.
Yes.
So
Yes.
he
He hasn't made a
probably
move.
went to take a break. Yeah, and he didn't realize that the game has started.
Oh, that's
That's
unfortunate
unfortunate.
because it's half a
Yeah,
minute. Because first move generally you don't take that much time. You quickly need to make those first moves to get those increment of 2 seconds. But here
yeah,
this is a little unfortunate for Arash, who has not lost a single of his first two games.
right. He's
Finally,
back. He's
he
back. He
makes.
made his move. Um, so he needs to make a few moves fast, otherwise, to catch up on the lost time. So he's chosen the Reti setup again. Seems to be his favorite. Also, it's easy to play some setup. If you learn a setup, then you just need to make the same moves in every, no matter what your opponent does. So it's at least the first 5, 6 moves, 7 moves, you're sorted. You don't need to really think, and then you can just play according to the position on the board. Um, so it's a good idea to learn some setups for, especially for blitz, because then you can make the initial moves really fast. Knight g4, really? Okay. Um, why didn't he play e5? He could have played e5, but okay, he didn't. Plays queen e2. Knight g4 is a strange move. He plays e5 himself because he does not want white to play e5. But now you see black has pawns on e5 and c5, whereas white has a pawn on e4 and a pawn on c3. So the c3 pawn controls the d4 square, and the e4 pawn controls the d5 square. And black cannot control the d5 square with either of his pawns. So white will simply put a knight on d5. Basically, he has a very good outpost on on d5. He should have played, instead of knight c4, white could have played h3. Even now he can h3, but then black plays knight into f2, queen into f2 and pawn into c4. He could have played h3 first and then played knight c4. Then he could have played knight e3 on the next move. That was possible. Yeah, I think. Yeah, so now it's not easy to put a knight on d5 because he exchanged one knight, and it's not easy to get the other knight to d5 because he has to go knight d2, knight f1. Oh, but he won a pawn now. Let's see if black plays rook b8. He goes back queen e2. So that's the problem. That's why rook b8 is not so efficient.
Mhm.
c4 was a better move than rook b8. And now white will go queen c2. He goes rook d2 with the idea to double on d file as well, apart from supporting the b2 square. So rook d1 is expected. So white is a clear pawn up now. C4 pawn can also be attacked later with bishop f1, then maybe knight to d2 at some point, and it could be vulnerable. The a7 pawn is also a bit uh, weak, needs protection all the time. White is surely better. So I'm expecting bishop f1 now, but then white has to think about what to do for bishop g4. So he plays h3, preventing bishop g4. Yeah, now queen d1, I guess. He shouldn't take queen into b5 because it allows a into b5, and then neither the a pawn is weak nor the c pawn. So I don't think queen b5 is a good move here. He should come back with his queen d1. He took on b5. Okay, fine then. But I think he could have just played queen d1. It would have been a more comfortable position to play. This is okay for black now, even though he's still a pawn down. He has to struggle. Still, it's not so bad. Oh, this was a good move, bishop h3 now. So if he exchanges the bishop, which he will have to exchange it, and then white gets the d5 square because the only thing protecting the d5 square is the bishop. Okay then, but now what if this is possible? Actually, it's not easy for white to break through, even though he's a pawn up. It's not easy to convert his extra pawn because black's pawn structure is very good. Um, and he doesn't have a second weakness.
Mhm.
So, not at all easy. I think this game will be decided in time pressure only because as a position, it's fine for black. That's what I feel.
And this is also after Arash wasted his first 30 seconds. Due to what reasons we don't know, but he did not make a move for his first 30 seconds. But still,
Yeah.
this
He
is an
probably
incredible comeback by him.
Yeah, he probably was not on the board. So one idea for him would be to play h5, knight h4, and knight f5. I think he is looking at that. Now black wants to go knight c5 and attack the e4 pawn. Yeah, now I think h5 should, yeah, he will play. So he played it. I think black should have played h5 himself. He should not have allowed this h5 because now black needs to defend a bit and it's a bit uncomfortable. Knight d6 would have been better, I think. Not allowing knight h4. Knight d6 would have been a better move than bishop e7. forcing white to play knight d2 instead. Now knight d6 is also possible. Knight c5 is also possible, but it allows knight f5, and for king f7, white has knight d6 check and take on b5. So that's why black doesn't allow knight f5. He plays knight d6, but then g4, and anyway knight f5 next move. This endgame. Okay, he took on f5. He could have played knight as well. He took on f5. So now f4. F4 or b3. There are two breaks for white. White goes for the b3 break, I guess. I don't know if this endgame is winning. Even though white is a pawn up, it's a king pawn endgame. Oh, white wants to play a4. He wants to play a4. Why didn't he take on a4? Now, can white come back? Yeah, this was a... Oh, he didn't... Okay. Yeah, this is winning for white now. Yeah. Good technique by Arash. I'm
So in the
wondering what
previous
would
round
have
that we
happened
saw,
had he
yeah,
kept the knight on e8. But okay. This was very good technique.
yes, good game here by Arash Dagli. He's beaten Mu Yonglin, and third round yes, there are a couple of more games remaining. Just the last few seconds remaining. Is it timeout for black? No, it isn't. Who's the favorite here, Soumya?
It's a draw. I think the pawn is on. Yeah, it's a draw because the pawn was too far advanced. So
Yes, so there'll be a half a point shared by Tigran and Hamid. Just check if there are any more games being played in the third round. Doesn't look like. Yes, there's one more. That's Zhang and Alreza. Alireza Busag. That's he saw his first match in the first round. Let's see if he can beat Zhang Yifan.
white has a winning idea here with b8 queen. Yes, but I don't know if who is winning this position because even black has to can play f4 then king d4. Oh, his time expired. Sad. I would have been curious to see who's winning. I think, yeah, white was winning actually.
That's an important aspect of Blitz is to keep an eye on the timer there, just 3 minutes. Right
Yeah.
then. So these are the standings at the end of the third round. With the perfect score, we have the top four with 3 out of 3. Then we have two with 2.5, and around 7-8 other boys with a score of 2. So top four still can't be considered as favorites. It's just the end of round 3. We are learning by experience at looking at these young boys and girls play. We cannot predict a winner till the end of round 9, can we, Soumya?
Yeah, not at all. We need to wait and watch till the 9 rounds are over. But so far, the top seeds seem to be doing very well. All the higher rated players are on like full score or at least on 2.5. So that's good. There are a few players on 2 as well, which is fine.
That's right. So that's the end of round three, and the next round will begin shortly. In the meanwhile, we'll have a quick break. So, any questions, please keep them coming. In the meanwhile, in the world of sport, there's big news coming in, and this news comes from the world of motorsport. That's Formula One. So, what was believed was an unbreakable record by the greatest F1 driver ever, Michael Schumacher, has been broken by Lewis Hamilton. He has won his 92nd career victory just a few minutes back at the Portuguese Grand Prix. And Lewis Hamilton has broken the record of most number of wins of Michael Schumacher. What an achievement that is! Because I remember Lewis Hamilton saying in an interview that when I was a kid, I used to play video games and I wanted to compete against Michael Schumacher in my video games and I wanted to defeat him. But forget video games. This young boy, Lewis Hamilton, on ground, on field, sitting in a car, has beaten his idol, Michael Schumacher, with the most number of F1 victories. Now that is some achievement. So when you achieve, when you're playing against a senior, someone that you've always idolized, but still you go ahead, always enter a sport when you have an idol. Like for example, you have always kept on saying that it always was Vishwanathan Anand that resulted in the boom in chess. So it's quite a feeling for any young athlete, young player, when you enter and then it's a huge achievement. It's also a victory for sports overall, that they say records are meant to be broken, and that's one
Yes.
record that we see that has been broken by Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, it's an amazing achievement. He must be so proud of himself. And yeah, for sure. I remember, uh, forgive me, I don't remember his name, but the boy who won the gold in the 2018 Olympics in swimming, he actually he beat Michael Phelps. And
Yes.
when he was a kid, he had actually taken a picture with Michael Phelps, like as a fan. So, and he went on to actually win the gold. When I saw that picture, he's from Singapore. So when I saw that picture, I was stunned, that, oh, really? Is this even possible? And now you tell me about Lewis Hamilton and his story of how he was inspired by Michael Schumacher. That's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. These sporting legends, these are just amazing names. And if you talk of Michael Phelps, or you talk of Jonathan Anand, or recently when you talk of the French Open and Rafael Nadal winning for so many years, I mean, there was these so many
Yes.
stories that he's been winning since 2001, since 2005. What were we doing in 2001, 2005? He's been doing the very same thing for the last 20 years, just winning the French Open over and over again, over and over again. So when it comes to these
Yeah.
legends, these are just amazing names, and it's important for a sport to have these names. If you talk of cricket in India, there are so many names. When it comes to chess as well, it's Vishwanathan Anand, and now so many names that have come up. May that be Formula One, may that be tennis, may that be swimming. And it always is better for a sport or for a game when there is one person, one big name, and that helps youngsters, also encourages them to enter the sport and be somewhere closer to the idol that they've always envisioned.
Yeah, definitely. I think it gives them a sense of direction as well, which path to take, go about your career. You can just sort of learn from your idol, I guess. And also, it gives them, apart from inspiration, it gives them the confidence that I can also do it. Someone from my country, from my region, someone who had the same sort of upbringing as I had and same opportunities as I do did it, so why not me? That feeling. I think that plays a huge role in building a culture of that sport in the sports person's country. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, it does, and that's the beauty of sports. Yes, we'll just wait for round number four to begin. In the meanwhile, we have a question on Facebook from Shriya. The question is, Soumya, could you suggest a reputed coach for chess, or just a reputed institution, maybe if there's any in India, any particular coach or
Uh,
an
I
institute
I
where
don't want
someone
to
can enroll?
endorse. I don't want to endorse a particular person, but there are so many great players and so many good coaches. It depends on your level. Actually, you should find a coach who is willing to teach someone of your level. And um, there are a lot of grandmasters have academies in India. So depends on where you live. I think you have to find out locally. That would be my suggestion, because
Mhm.
no point in me suggesting randomly. I don't know where this person lives, and it just doesn't make sense to give out names. So
Yes, so you'll definitely find someone in your local area, because chess is played wide audience, and we have grandmasters who have their academies, or you can always enroll online. So irrespective of where you stay, if you plan to take
yeah,
a course online, if you plan to learn chess online, you can surely find a lot of links, a lot of online academies, online
yeah,
grandmasters to learn the game.
yeah, definitely. I mean, in general also, right? Like if you're looking for a school for your kid, let's say you ask around, and that's how it works for
Yeah.
anything, I feel. I mean, you just have to ask around, and also do some research on your own. I mean, everything is available online nowadays. So just one click and you will find out. It shouldn't be too difficult, I think.
Yes, absolutely. And as you mentioned, there's always Google for that. So,
Yes.
as you were reminded of your victory, similarly, we can have these chess institutes have also found out. And in the meanwhile, yes, we have the fourth round that has begun again. We go to the match of Arash Dagli. He takes on Isaac Can at this time.
So this is a time and variation, and this is a very sharp variation that they have entered into. Oh wow, it will be fun to watch this game. It's super sharp. Usually the king stays in the center. C4 is a move here. Bishop E4, king E2. That's how the line goes. Let's see. Let's see what white plays. So, okay, C4, knight B4. What if I play A3 here? Queen A5, is it? That is the problem, I guess. A3, queen A5. A into B4 allows queen into A1. And at the same time, black is threatening queen into E5 after queen A5, attacking the knight on E4. And he's also threatening knight C2 or knight D3 check on one of the. So, okay then. White needs to be precise. Bishop D2 is a move, right? Bishop D2. With the idea, if black plays C5, white can take on B4 with the bishop and then give a check on D6 with his knight. That is possible. White can also play F4 here, I think, with the idea if black plays queen A5, you go king F2. Okay, sure. So he has played bishop G5. What if queen A5 here? What does white do for queen A5? I think bishop G5 is a blunt. Bishop G5, queen A5, knight D6. Bishop into D6, queen into D6. Okay, this looks so messy, but F6, 6. Hmm, I'm not sure if this is okay for white. F6, E into F6, queen into G5, queen B4, so that doesn't work. And let's say g into f6, then white can take bishop f6. And for knight d5, bishop c3, but then knight into c3, and then white goes queen d2. This is a very deep variation. I don't know how much the viewers followed. But it's possible. It is possible that it can happen. Queen a5 is the main move here. We have to check if that works or not. If queen a5 doesn't work, then white is definitely fine. Another move is queen b6, but it doesn't look good. Yeah, queen b6 doesn't look good. Queen a5 should be the move. Let's see. Queen a5, knight d6. Bishop into d6 is forced. Queen into d6. Now white is threatening queen e7 checkmate. So checkmate in one. He doesn't go for it. He doesn't go for it. Okay. I'm surprised. Even f4 is possible here. He plays knight d6, bishop d6, e d6. Now queen a5. Bishop d2, queen e5 check. Bishop e2, queen into d6. Queen into d6. Queen b3. c5. a3. Bishop g2. This is very messy. I'm quite sure he'll take on d6. What is the other option? Knight d3 is an option. Knight d3 is an option. King f1 because the bishop on e2 is pinned. Then knight b2. But then, okay, he took on d6. Knight b3 was also possible, I think. But this is probably better.
Equally placed on the number of seconds that are remaining. With ISF Can, it's around 21:20 now. RS has a little more than half a minute remaining.
Yeah, so black is a pawn up now. He's definitely better. Let's see how the rest of the game goes. I don't think knight d6 was a good move as because of the reason we saw this queen a5, queen e5 idea. He could have played f4 instead of knight d6 and it would have been fine. Now, bishop g7 would be a very bad move because rook g8, and when the bishop moves, you play knight d4, attacking the bishop on e2 and the pawn on g2 because when you move the knight on from c6, the bishop on b7 also opens its range.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! She only plays for Trixie. Rook d6 with would have been met with knight d4, and then rook would have been trapped on d6. He took with a d pawn. That's surprising. But Abhi, this is equal, na? Bishop into d4. Why not take on d4? It would have been better to take on d, I think.
Running low on time are both of them. Quickly need to make those moves.
Mm-hmm. Now the c4 pawn is weak, but The pawn was weak on c4 and strong on c5, but okay, he decides to give up the a pawn for the c pawn. So he's a pawn up. Let's see. I think it's definitely better for black, but let's see how he handles the position because knight on a6 a bit awkwardly placed. It's out of the game for now. Black's main plan is to just push the pawns e4, e3, e2. So he brought the knight into the game first, and now he pushed the pawns. Oh, he'll start collecting pawns. Okay, he'll take the g2 pawn and then push e3, e2. Yeah, king g6 now. Bishop c5, not blundering. Oh, the g7 pawn is hanging now. He should not have played rook k2 because on the previous move it was not possible. When the rook was on a3, there was rook d3 check. With the rook on a2, okay, white has good drawing chances, even though black still a pawn up. White has good drawing chances. Yeah, now all he needs to do is give up the bishop for the f pawn, and this is a well. This should be easy to draw. Now knight e3 check. Bishop into e3 would not be. Yeah, maybe bishop into e3. Yeah, so that was not possible. They are in like last few seconds. They have to play really fast.
Yes, Ayash, just a second. Yes, quick move gives him an increment of 2 seconds.
Now knight f5, knight e3. Oh my god. He should not allow. Now he should not allow knight e3. Right. He didn't do it. Both of them are very alert, huh? I must say. Check again. Now rook e8 back. Bishop f4. Why not bishop f4? Okay. This is very dangerous. I mean, black is more likely to win this than white likely to make a draw, is my feeling. But white is playing really well. Huh? He's defending really well.
Yeah.
Now he has to make a choice whether to control e3 or g3. It's not easy to make this choice. Now rook e8 check. Oh, bishop f4. Okay. Now rook a8. Rook e5 even. Now rook a5. Acha. He can attack. He can try to attack the f3 pawn as well. That is another option. With rook h3, maybe next move he can play rook h3. Acha, he has to now save the bishop. Be careful not to blunder. Now rook a8. Bishop e5. Then. Oh wow. Just super alert, man. Abhi rook h3.
They're super alert. They're making this game go for a long time as well.
Yeah. They're playing really well, both the players. Oh no, black lost on time.
Oh, Arash, what have you done? It's just
Oh
maybe not having a
no.
look at the clock there.
Oh, that's such a pity. It was a draw. The last position was a draw, as we know, because they were simply. I mean, the f3 pawn was hanging, the knight was attacked, so it would have been a draw. Oh, that's
That'll be
such a pity.
disappointing for Arash. Very disappointing. We'll just quickly have a look at the standings. Yes, so Arash Dagli moves on to the third position with a defeat by his name. So we have the top two. That's Jahidi and Isaac Khan with a score of 4 out of 4. Rishabh Shah is doing well. He's at the 17th position from India. He has a score of 2. Still 5 more rounds to go. So there's still a chance for anyone to get to the top. But we have two boys with 100% score so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to quickly get over the last round, both the players, because even if, like, it must have been so exciting for both the players to play that game, they have to quickly get over it and focus on the next one.
Yes, indeed, that's a challenge with these school kids as well. I mean, for example, if we talk of Arish now, he'll be disappointed after a defeat wherein he knew, and something that Soumya you had been mentioning from first game, that he's doing his strategies very well. He's playing his tricks on board, but he'll be disappointed with that. But he'll have to keep it behind and now get ready for round number 5, because he cannot let that disappointment affect his performance in the remaining 5 rounds, because he's already lost one in the first 4 matches, which his other two opponents have not. That's Jahid Imani and Can Isaac. So important for all these kids to keep their concentration on board, on their screens, on their laptops, on
Mm-hmm.
their tabs, wherever they are playing. Keep a good control of the mouse or the cursor, and make sure that they keep concentrating.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Okay, it's just one game, and it's okay to lose one game. I mean, you can always come back, so it's not a problem. It's just that he
Yeah.
needs to get over the emotional ups and downs, because he was completely in charge in the previous game. He was the one who was trying to win, and suddenly he lost on time. I mean, it must have been a big shock for him, I guess. But yeah, you just need to accept it and move on.
Yes, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will, because it's a big prize money that they're also playing for. The prize fund is wherein they'll be getting a chance to represent their country at the higher competition in the year 2021, and of course they'll be awarded by a laptop. We also had Vidit Gujarati joining us last Saturday, and he said that's something for a school kid to get a laptop without asking for funds from their parents. There we go. The prize fund, the winner of each category will be rewarded. So if you talk of the under 17 category, they have a right to participate at the ISF Summer Gymnasium in China in October 2021, and they will be awarded by a laptop. The same happens with the under 14 kids as well. Last weekend, winner of the under 14 boys and girls category has a right to participate at the ISF under 15 World Schools Games in Serbia in July 2021. Winning is one thing, but participating is equally important. So, for the first 8 ranked players in each age and gender category, will get the ISF ranking certificate, while all the rest finalists will get a participation certificate, which also is important if you're planning for your graduation, post graduation. If you're not looking to make a career in chess, but you participating and be playing chess or any sport at school level, and if you have a certificate for it, you'll always get that advantage, that edge over the others who have not. So these certificates and all, every tournament that you participate in always helps you in moving ahead or having that advantage over others in your career. So all the
That's true.
finalists of the boys and girls will get a participation certificate. Yes, Soumya?
Yeah, that's true actually. And also, a lot of universities and colleges actually look at your extracurriculars while considering students for scholarships. And especially, I know that Ivy League colleges and all, they definitely look at your extracurriculars, because everyone. Everyone applying for these colleges has really good marks. So what makes you stand apart from the others is your extracurriculars, right? So definitely give it a lot of importance. So that's a great point you made, that the certificates will be really useful for the kids, even if they don't plan to pursue chess and pursue academics. Even in that sense, will really be helpful for them.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, even jobs or even in universities, academic brilliance is one thing, but then the other is you participating in sports and your social brilliance. Are you socially active? Can you speak or can you play in a team? And that is what sport genuinely teaches you. That is, how do you deal with others? You respect others, you take in their opinions. You at times will be defeated by your team members, but you can have the chance to defeat your team members as well. So it just gives you the edge over the others who have not maybe played a sport. And so academic brilliance eventually doesn't count for everything. There also has to be a little bit of active activities, sports, social activities, and this is brilliant. I mean, all of these kids sitting at home and having participated, playing on a virtual platform that's premium chess, but getting a certificate by ISF, and also being casted live on One Play Sports. They can always have the YouTube links downloaded to show to their parents, families, maybe upload it on their social media saying that I was covered live. My game was covered live by the woman grandmaster Soumya Swaminathan, and these are her comments on a good move that I made. And that'll eventually give that needed inspiration for the school kids.
Yeah, I think that would be very nice to, see your own game being broadcasted live, for sure. Especially for
Yes,
parents, I
sir.
think more than the kid, parents will be very excited.
Yes.
They'll definitely at least share it on their family WhatsApp group. I'm 100% sure. Whether they share it on social media or not is another question.
Bang on, Soumya. That will definitely happen. When it comes to parents, they are the first cheerleaders that you always have, don't you? I mean, you do something good, and they are the first ones to make sure that the entire society, everyone, their relatives, friends, family members are informed about your
Yeah,
achievements.
yeah.
Okay, then we have the fifth round, which is about to begin, and we'll again have a look at Arad Nazari and Arash Dagli.
So again, Arash, yeah, even though he lost
Yeah,
the previous round, so
yeah.
he's on 3 points now. And again, he goes for his favorite Queen's Indian attack. I think we can just learn a lot about this opening by following his games and studying them, because he's employing it in almost every game. So again, the same structure. Did you notice, Chaitanya? The same structure as we saw in the second round game. The pawns are on c5 and e5, whereas white has pawns on e4 and c3. So white controls the d4 square with his pawn, but black cannot control the d5 square with either of his pawns. So white has an outpost on d5, whereas black doesn't. So that is his main advantage in this position.
Mhm.
Not easy to get the knight on d5, and also the knight on f6 controls the d5 square for now. But in the long run, this will be the main square that white will fight for. D5, get his knight to d5. So black wants to play bishop a6. He'll definitely play bishop a6. I really like this idea of going a5 and bishop a6 by black. Maybe knight f d2 now, or bishop e3 one. Bishop e3 is a move, but then it allows knight g4. So I'll definitely consider playing knight f d2 here, or h3. H3 is a move preventing knight g4 with the idea to play bishop e3, then go knight f d2. He plays bishop f1. Okay. So he wants to play queen c2 basically. He'll play queen c2 on the next move, I think. Yeah, he has supported the knight on c4 with bishop f1. So he wanted to remove his queen from the pin. I definitely think white should play h3 on one move and then play his bishop to e3. It would be a good idea, because where else do you develop the bishop? Developing the bishop on g5 doesn't make much sense, because black simply plays
Mm.
h6. So Acha, now there is no need to play h3 because knight has moved. So knight e3 abhi, हाँ, knight e8. I don't know about knight e8. I don't know whether this move was a good one. I think black could have played something else. Yeah, white is okay, but not bad. Black managed to control the d5 square with his other knight, putting it on e7, and now the queen on c6 also covers it. White definitely needs to develop his bishop at some point. Uh, so bishop e3 coming in next, I guess. Next move will be bishop e3. Once black moves his rook to d7, bishop e3, bishop g5. That's also okay. Can I play h6? I can, no? Oh, h6, bishop e7 and knight e3. That's his point. That's why he plays f6 instead. Acha. Because he was going to take on e7 and then put his knight to e3 and then launch his knight on d5. Be very happy about it. So black does not allow that. Plays f6. But now the bishop on g7 is doing nothing. It's completely blocked with his own pawns. And white can actually exchange the rooks and try to gain control of the d file. Right now, the c4 knight is hanging, so he needs to support him. Yeah, b3 makes sense. Rook d8 will happen. I think rook d1 is fine here. You can exchange both the rooks. Yeah, and then you can go queen d6 even, or queen d8. Once both the rooks are exchanged. Yeah, now rook d7 will allow queen d7. Yeah, no, knight b6. White can take. So rook d7, rook d1. Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Oh no, tactic incoming. G into f4 allows queen g4 check and rook on d1 is hanging because two attacks and only one support. So bishop bishop c7 जाना पड़ेगा क्या? No, you can take gf4 here. When black takes ef4, queen g4 check, king f1, ef4, he plays f3. Okay, need some calculation in this position. So maybe queen d2, maybe queen d2. Yeah, happened. So the point is now for queen g4, let's say, white has queen d8
Mhm.
check. That's why the bishop is not hanging after queen g4 because you can simply give a check and then you can, like, black will play bishop f8 and then actually you can just play bishop c1. Um, and there is no check on d1 because the queen on d8 controls it. But black can play queen e2 or can play f3. But f3 allows knight e5. Oh, white can even play queen. Let's say black plays queen g4 here, queen d8, bishop f8, and white can even go knight e5 directly, attacking the queen on g4. And he's also threatening knight d7 at the same time, attacking the bishop on f8. So black decides to be cautious and plays queen e6, not allowing all these tactics. Can I take on f4 now? I can, no? I can take on f4. White can take on f4 now. I'm pretty sure he'll take on f4. Yeah, bishop at f4. The point is that after queen bishop g3 as well. So okay, queen e4. Um, there are some options. Knight b6 allows bishop c3 even. So you have to be careful. Actually, bishop c3 is a threat now. Queen into c3, queen into f4. So maybe bishop to g3, but that allows knight d5. Okay. I think queen d8 check. Queen d8 check first. He doesn't. Okay, he plays knight b6. King f7, right? Bishop f8. Bishop f8 is also possible, but then you have to worry about knight d7. Yeah, king f7 is better, I think. This is super complex. Even, oh, now I think white is better. How? Oh, knight c8 is so pretty. Oh no, but it doesn't work. Knight c8 was a very pretty move to play. If it would have worked, if the pawn was on f3, it was working, but he missed this queen b7 check. That was such a nice trick, because if black would have taken knight into c8, the queen was on b3 and the king on e6. So queen g8 check, diagonal check, and the b3 queen would have been hanging. That was the point. Yeah, pity, pity, pity. Both the sides played really well, actually. Just this knight c8, he was too attracted by this tactic and forgot about. Oh, the knight was pinned actually. I think the queen was on e8 even, not even on d8, right? So he could not even take on c8. So that was the point. Acha. It
So then Arash Dagi
was a
has
very complex.
lost two on a trot here. Quickly move
No,
on
Arash
to
won the game, no?
Mahan.
Oh no,
White
Arash lost.
loses.
Arash
White
lost.
lost. Yes, white lost.
Arash was white in that position. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Ah, even queen d7 instead of knight c8 could have been good for white, I guess. Now that I think over it. Okay, let's move on to this game. Okay, white is a
Mm.
piece up. Will win this for sure. Unless he blunders, because some positions, uh, okay, let's say white manages, black manages to exchange one pawn. Yeah, he did do that. Now he just needs to be careful not to blunder, because black's only thing is that he can give up his knight for the pawn and then it will be a draw. So knight g6 will allow knight into g6. Okay, that's not possible. Maybe keep knight on. Yeah, king h6 maybe. King h6 would have allowed knight g4. Okay, I guess this is winning then. King g4 now, right? King g4 now, controlling the knight. Just needs to control the knight and then move forward. Abhi knight d5. Acha, idea knight g5. Good, yeah. King g4 would have. ठीक है, ये भी ठीक है. Knight g8 is allows knight g6 checkmate. So king g8. Abhi knight g6. Knight f5 को h7 and h8 queen. Anyway h7 h8 queen हो रहा है. तो knight f7 h7 and h8. Will be checkmate soon.
Difficult for Tigran to survive now.
Mm-hmm.
Queen and
Super
the
upset,
knight.
no? Because There was
Yes, it
again
is.
like a huge difference between the ratings.
Yes, so any more matches being played? Oh, that's it. So that's the end of round number 5, and we have Mani Jahedi. He's the only one with a 100% score so far, 5 out of 5 for Mani Jahedi. Followed by on 4, we have 6 others. On 4, that's Can Isaac, Bargeshian, so 4, 5 others. Rishabh Shah on the 20th position with a score of 2. But it's Mani Jahedi who's leading the pack right now with a score of 5 out of 5.
Nice. So we can expect a match between Mani and Jan Isik, I guess. I think Jan was playing Arash in the previous round and he won that
Yeah.
game. No, no, no. I think yeah, he won against Arash in the fourth round. You know the game which he won on time? That one. So we don't know whom he played against in this round because we didn't follow his game. Let's see
Mhm.
how the pairings go. So he's leading by a whole point, Money.
Yes. That'll be interesting how he goes ahead. But we have seen those with a 100% score also faltering in the last few rounds. So he'll have to
Mm-hmm.
continue his good run in the remaining 4 rounds.
Right. Oh, actually, we did see Mani's game. He was playing Arash. If you remember, he was black, and Arash played this knight c8 blunder. That was the game, and so yeah, he played well. He played well, and yeah, it will be interesting to follow him how he does in the rest of the tournament. There
That's
are
right.
a
And we're
lot of
looking
players on
forward.
4 points.
Yes, yes, yes. They are. They I can see from 3 to 7. So there are 5 of them on 4 points. So they also still have a chance, an equal chance to get on the top.
Yes.
Okay, then that's the end of round number 5. Waiting for round 6 to begin. Any questions, any queries that you have about the game of chess, feel free to ask us, or any feedback that also is welcome because we are broadcasting chess, online chess. So it's completely new. This year has thrown a lot of challenges at everyone. And this also is a challenge that is broadcasting chess online, not seeing the game or not recording the actual game with cameras, but just playing online and giving you the finest experience possible. Thanks to ISF and the broadcasting partners, One Play Sports. So, any feedbacks, any how that we can improve on our broadcast of chess, feel free to give us your feedback on our Facebook and on our YouTube page. Now, meanwhile, Soumya, in what is in the chess calendar now? We are in October now. So, are we seeing online chess at least for a few more months? Still, everything is back to normal. So, any of that you have been informed of in the future, the tournaments in the future?
Well, online chess is here to stay for sure. I mean, even though it started in such a big way because of the lockdown, I think everybody realizes its potential and everybody realizes the kind of audience that it can bring in, the kind of convenience attached to organizing
Yeah.
these tournaments. So, for sure, it's here to stay. It's the only concern is when will the over the boards tournament start? So many of them have started already in Europe. There are a few tournaments going on in Europe. Those who are in Europe can play there. They are playing there.
Okay.
Recently, we had a very big elite level tournament in Norway, Norway chess, and players who could travel. Basically, it was a invitational tournament for the elite, as in the top 10 or 15 chess players in the world, and the ones who could travel played there. Magnus won the tournament. In January, we will have a women's Grand Prix tournament in Gibraltar that has already been announced. That again is a tournament by qualification. So there are a few tournaments that have been announced, but there is no large scale tournament as such. The FIDE candidates, which was supposed to, it was initially supposed to be held in March. Then it did happen. The candidates basically the qualification tournament for the World Championship. The player who wins the candidates challenges the world champion for a match, and they play the world championship match. So that is how it works, and 8 players play in the candidates, and it's very hard to get into the candidates, like really tough selection process. And then the tournament was announced in March, so half of the tournament took place actually, and then it was stopped midway because of the pandemic and all the restrictions that were announced in Russia, where the tournament was taking place. So the players had to catch a flight back home the same day. The same day. Imagine you're waiting for your round to begin. Uh, the round is at 4 p.m. and at 12 p.m. you get a call. You're preparing. You get a call that from tomorrow all the outside flights are cancelled from Russia. So catch the first flight back home as soon as possible. And you're like, fine,
Ooh,
okay
that's
then. And that's what happened. That's what actually happened. And then since it happened midway, the results were still counted as valid. So it was going to take place in November, the second half of the candidates, but that also got postponed because the pandemic situation is not so clear anymore. तो
yeah.
पता नहीं अभी maybe next year, yeah.
Yeah, of course, we'll hope for the best, hope for things to get back to normalcy. And over here, we're back to normal. Sixth round has begun. Mani Jahidi, he is the table topper, takes on Arad Nazari.
Right. So Mani is also not on his board. Clearly, he's probably taken a break. Yeah, now he's back. So Sicilian
Nice.
defense. We'll get to see a Sicilian on the board today. Let's see whether what line. Okay, accelerated dragon. He plays Queen D4. So E5, Knight C6 is possible. He goes for Knight C3, Knight C6 here, most probably. Queen A4. Mm-hmm. Bishop D7, Knight D7, Queen D7. Bishop E2, Bishop G7 now, and Bishop E3 maybe. I wonder why he didn't go for Bishop B5 instead of Bishop E2 and take on C6. That was also possible. It's an equal position, but White can claim for a slight advantage because it's an open position and he has a pair of bishops. Usually, bishops work better in open positions and knights work better in closed positions. So that's the only reason that White can claim to have a small, like very small advantage. His pieces are well placed. Queen h4 is an option here. Transferring his queen to the king side. He wants to go into endgame. Yeah, good decision. Why not? I mean, he has a pair of bishops. He can go for it. Now maybe rook f d8, yeah? Black will try to exchange pieces and control the d file. Now knight d4 is a threat. Not a big threat because you can anyway go on bishop d3 for knight d4, but needs to be considered. You can take on d8 and then bring your other rook to d1. Bishop f3, preventing any knight d4 stuff because then you can take on b7 and basically you keep an eye on the b7 pawn after your bishop has been transferred to this a1 h1 a8 diagonal. Oh, he took on c6. Okay, this is, I don't know, was it necessary to do it? I mean, it is possible. Basically, he spoiled black's pawn structure, and he's like playing for this advantage of having a better pawn structure. Knight d5, yeah, knight d5, knight into d5, pawn into d5 even. Why not? Pawn into d5, rook into e7, and bishop into b2. I would have played pawn into d5, to be honest. I would have corrected my pawn structure. c3 now? Oh, he offered a draw and white accepted it. Okay, okay.
So that was a draw offered, and both of these
Yes.
players just accepted that we'll share a point, half a point.
Oh, middle game position. Both of them are from the same country, Armenia. White is threatening knight b6 now. No, he's not, because black can simply take on b6. What is white threatening? He is threatening f4. He is threatening f4, knight c6, f5. So that's why black went back knight c6 prophylaxis with the idea to play f5. Yeah, now he'll probably play f5. Yes. So that was his idea, showing prophylaxis. Queen f7 maybe. Easier to play white here. Knight c5, allowing knight b6, huh? What about the exchange that will be lost? Hmm. He could have taken on f5 first and then played the same knight b6. This way he wouldn't have lost a pawn as well. Like right now he lost a pawn, but it's still better for white only. b4 will you play? Will you consider b4 here? Possible. Queen c2 with the idea to take on c5 and then take on e4. So white, if black plays bishop f5, I can probably play g4. Acha, but he allowed this knight d3 stuff. Knight d3, annoying, annoying. Knight on d3 is annoying, very strong. Um, Even knight f4, yeah. On the next move, after the rook moves, black can simply take on f4 as well. Yeah, why not take on f4 now? Black is fine. He was not fine until now, but now he's fine after this d3 stuff. Oh, okay. He won the pawn back. Crazy. So again, white is winning now because he was like his main compensation was the pawn on e4, which has been lost. Yeah, this is much better for white. Much better. Yeah, even rook d2 or okay. Queen d2 now. Exchange the queens. Exchange the queens. King f2 is a cute move to play because the queen on g5 was pinned. Now you have to take on g5, otherwise queen g2 might play. Oh, but queen e2 is even better. Take the bishop on e4. Yeah, even better. Even better than taking the queen on g5 and white won. Good game by white. Yeah, black was in a very cramped position by the time we started viewing the game, so hard to suggest much. White played really well. Okay, so he has played d5 on the last move. Um, preventing queen f8 and attacking e7 pawn. So rook e7, queen f8, and rook queen into e7. Oh, that was a nice tactic. So white is winning. Just rook d7 and bishop b1, yeah. First, rook d7 should have been played instead of, but okay, this is also winning because you can go rook to b7. Okay, bishop c4 maybe, or rook e7. Rook e7 now. Yeah, rook e7 now. Now rook e5, b2, rook into e4. Rook into e4. But this is this is still this could still be winning for white actually. What a turnaround. In Blitz, anything can happen, Baba. You can blunder at any moment in the game. Rook g2, rook c2 now. Take the pawn. Take the pawn and make a draw. Rook c4. Why not rook c4? Just rook c4, yeah. King f8. Now rook c6. Yeah, this is a draw because when the pawn, you keep your rook on the third rank, and whenever whenever white pushes his pawn to f6, you bring your rook to the first rank, that is to c1 in this case. And when black puts his king to g6, then you give checks from the file, that is g1. So this is a draw. He'll probably play for 100 more moves, but it is a draw. And I'm sure black knows how to draw it. So it will be a draw for sure. 100 more moves until we have a result on the board. It's my prediction for this game. King f8. No need to worry. Okay, now rook c1. b1 as in. Okay. Yeah. Less than 100 moves from that position, but the result is the same. Only one more game left. This is also a draw because black has a knight pawn. So white can even draw this game with passive defense. Need not keep his rook active even though right now his rook is super active. And now rook b4. Whenever black pushes g4, he will go rook b8 and start giving file checks. That is the point of keeping your rook on the fourth rank, basically cutting off the king. And whenever the pawn covers the fourth rank, then you go back on the eighth rank and give the opponent's king checks from the flank. This endgame is also a draw. This pawn endgame is also a draw. Right. So there are some theoretical drawn end games in chess which you should know. It's better to know so that uh, you can enter them confidently and make a draw confidently. There are a lot of end game books like in which these end games have been analyzed and explained in detail. Mark Dworetzky's Endgame Manual is the most popular of these. Um, it's a fantastic book. Dworetzky did a lot of research on all the basic endgames, and definitely a book I recommend to anyone who wants to start studying endgames.
Yes.
Hello,
Meanwhile,
Chaitanya.
we have
Hi.
hi. The sixth round is done, and we have Mani Jayati was a draw, was it? Because he's got half a point there, so he's on 5.5, and then we
Mhm.
have Isaac and Gyan at 5 each. So still not a lot of difference between the top three, just a difference of half a point.
Yeah, it's very close, and they're fighting really hard. So it's going to be. Where is Arash, the top seed of the tournament? Can you? Yeah, he's on 4 points.
Arash
No,
Dagli is sixth. He's on four
no,
points. Yes,
he's on
that's
four
Arash
points, right?
Dagli, right? Yeah, he's on
Yes, yes,
the
yes.
sixth position.
And the second seed is Jan. He's on 5 points, and the leader is Manik Jahidi on 5.5. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so these are the standings at the end of round number six. Three more rounds to go. So, you were mentioning about books and about end games. So, could you elaborate on that?
Right.
What exactly the point you were making there?
So I was just explaining to the viewers that there are certain theoretical end games basically, uh, which are either drawn or winning for one side, and hence losing for the other, which have been analyzed and explained in details in certain books. And if you know them, then your task is much easier over the board because you know that this endgame is drawn or you know that this endgame is winning, and you can enter it confidently. And once you enter it, also you can make the draw or win the position confidently. You know the patterns. Even if you're losing the endgame, you know the patterns as to what are the main, like what are the tricks maybe, and how you can trick your opponent into saving the position. So it's very important to learn these theoretical end games, and that you can learn only by practice. By hearting this to nahi hota hai. So um, as much as you study them, and you have to keep repetition is the key basically. Every year, at least
Mhm.
once a year, you should these end games, go through these end games, and many books have been written. The main book, which most of us refer to, is Mark Dworetzky's Endgame Manual. He did a lot of research. Mark Dworetzky is one of the most famous coaches in chess. He also wrote a lot of excellent books on chess, and which have helped most of us improve as chess players, because especially in India there was no culture like having a chess academy. There was no such culture, back then. And
Yes.
you were basically dependent on books for knowledge. And he really wrote so many books, and basically all his he's from Russia. He's from Soviet Union, and Soviet Union had this amazing chess culture. They have a Russian chess school. They have this system of teaching chess basically, and a fantastic system in place. And his books, when you go through them, you're basically, it's like learning from a Russian chess school indirectly. Instead of the
Okay.
teacher teaching you in class, you are learning through his book. That's all. That's the difference. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. That's equally important. And you also mentioned about the coaching culture, which is so important. If you talk of the basics being covered at the grassroots levels, and at school level, when a child is young, is just a kid, that is when there is good mentoring that is important for him to nurture, for him to be nurtured and go ahead and becoming a better player at whatever
Yeah,
game that he's playing. So no, this chess culture now of teaching and training academies has definitely come into India. Before, maybe in
yeah,
90s, in the 80s decade, I don't think that existed as much as what we have now. So that
yeah,
definitely is kudos to these organizations, and as well as for former chess players who have made sure that the new generation takes it seriously, can be a career option, and that can only happen if there are better teaching institutes that are imparting good knowledge of chess to young kids.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I think basically when you become a professional chess player, of you become professional chess players as in players, and some of you become coaches. And both
Hmm.
the professions are equally important and needed to grow the game. It can't be that you're only developing players, you also need to produce coaches for the next generation to come up. So I think either profession is equally important for the development of the game.
So as it exists in some other sports, wherein there is a trainers training program, so you need a certificate to be a trainer or a coach in some sports. Is it the same in chess? Are there training academies where they teach you how to be a coach of chess?
There are actually, there is a training program even by FIDE, where you can, like the World Chess Federation, where you can apply for the program, you can attend it, and you can get a certificate. But it's not necessary. I mean, if you want, you can get it
Okay.
done. Uh, it's not like you need to have it or something. Most trainers are basically ex chess players, so
Yeah.
they already have that foundation. It doesn't happen that you suddenly start teaching chess without having played chess yourself. Actually, maybe it can happen. Like, I don't know if it can actually happen. But for example, one of my friends, Mary Ann Gomes, she's a woman grandmaster, one of the top chess players of our country. She was three-time national champion. We are the same age. Her father used to be her coach for a really long time, and he
Okay.
never played competitive chess. He never played competitive chess himself. He just knew the game, and he maybe played it like occasionally in college or something, but he really loved chess. So when she started playing chess, he obviously taught her at home. That's how most kids learn chess, right? Your
Yeah.
parents teach you, or your uncle, auntie, someone teaches you at home. So it was just like a hobby. And then when she started learning chess, he also started doing research, and he started to teach her. And for a really long time, he was her main coach. So maybe it is possible to never have been a chess player and yet be a good coach.
Yeah, that's quite an example. Can be an exception because you can learn the game by playing by yourself or by reading all these manuals, as what you mentioned, taking
Yes.
online trainings maybe. And in spite of you not playing at the higher level, you still can be a good coach and mentor young kids. But yes, of course, if it's a grandmaster, someone has represented the country, you don't need a certificate of coaching for that
Yeah.
person. Then I'm sure that person is well qualified to teach and mentor kids.
Yeah. And also, just a moment. And also, one more thing I wanted to mention is a lot of these Russian players who are at the absolute top, they were also coached by their fathers, and who were good chess players, but not professional chess players. As in, they probably got good training when they were kids. And yeah, Soviet Union had this amazing chess culture, as I mentioned. So they had access to good training, or they at least had a chess culture, but they never played chess professionally. and they have their own profession, and then they taught their kids. But it's different from the example I gave, because in this case the parents, they already were a part of a system. Yeah, they had experienced
Mhm.
how it is to train a kid, so it is a slightly different case, I guess. Many current top players who are from um, basically Eastern European countries, or Russia or Ukraine, basically former Soviet Union countries. They have been coached by their parents, and who were not professional chess players themselves, but were a part of this system, this ecosystem of chess.
Yes, you bring these coaches at the right time, the right person to train you, to guide you. If we talk of all these greats, and irrespective of the sport that they belong to, it always is because of a good mentor, always because of a good coach, and that is when you get the right way forward in moving towards a successful career in the sport. Okay, then you're waiting for the next round to begin. That's round number 7. So three more rounds to go in the under 17 finals of the boys category of the ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020. The final day of our broadcast as well. We got to the qualifications of the under 17 boys and girls. Last weekend were the finals of the under 14 boys and girls. Of course, this weekend is the finals of the under 17 boys and girls. And
And
meanwhile,
the
I
final,
think we have, yeah, go on, sorry.
also the final tournament of the final match of the tournament itself, like the ISF, today is the final day of our coverage, the final day of their tournament. So yeah, the last three rounds of the whole tournament are going to take place now.
That's right, that's right. Okay, let's see how it unfolds. Do we have a clear winner at the end of round 8? Or we still don't know, as what we have seen in the last three, uh, the last weekend and yesterday as well. That is still the last round gets over. We did not know who the clear winner was. Just wait for confirmation from our producers whether we are going ahead with round number 7. That is if, of course, Premium Chess has approved for all the players to start. Remember, this is an online platform, so all the players, all these kids participating from 35 countries, 5 continents, the under 70 boys category have to be seated. So of course, it's a software, Premium Chess, where web cameras are on, and there's a special anti cheating detection software as well. So they'll have to be careful of nothing happening, even by mistake. There should be nobody else coming in the frame or you leaving it. So all these are protocols that you need to follow, and that is when it becomes a little different, but also very convenient because you are sitting at home. You have an entire day that you can spend practicing, eating home food. That also is very important for a healthy mind, and that's the advantage of playing an international tournament sitting at home.
Mm-hmm. Sure, for sure. Maybe they're having a quick snack right now. The break is going.
Yes, quite
So,
possible when we're
Chaitanya,
talking of under 17. Yeah,
you are a big
go on, go on.
sports fan, right? You follow a lot of
That's right.
different sports, as I have observed in the last few days of interacting with you. So, uh,
Yeah.
do you play a sport to keep fit, or is it part of your routine, or do you, what is it like?
Yes, so I share a similar interest like you, but the past 8 months I have not been allowed to do it, and that is swimming. Pools have been shut down, and I don't see them opening. Gyms have opened, but I don't see swimming pools
Right.
opening for a few more months as well. But swimming is something that I always enjoy. So 1 hour in the
Mhm.
morning or in the evening, whichever is the timing is convenient, is how I stay fit, and I get myself participated in some of the other sport activities, and I feel everyone should. It
Yes,
may not be you taking it seriously as a career option, but just for a healthy
exactly.
mind is always synonymous with a fit body. So you always need to be
True.
involved in some or the other fitness activity, and as simple as running as well can help. but swimming itself is always a meditation. It's fun as well as it's a sport, as well as it's an exercise. So yes, that you need to be in touch, or at least doing something to keep your body fit.
Definitely. It keeps you fresh as well. I mean, I during the lockdown, I'm going for cycling because I think it's the best activity to do during the lockdown. You also maintain 6 feet distance from everyone while you're cycling, so that takes care of that as well. Um, I just feel so fresh whenever I'm able to go cycling. Is the only thing is not every day it's possible because it's raining a lot and these other logistical things. But whenever I do manage to go for cycling, I feel so fresh. My mind is so happy because you're indoors the whole time. Yeah, when the log, especially okay, at least now
Yeah.
some of the jobs have started. Mine though hasn't because my job is to go for tournaments which haven't started. So I'm at home the whole day, and it just freshens you up. Like let's say you're in a really bad mood and you go for cycling and come back and you just forget about everything. Yeah, your mind is completely fresh. So I think any outdoor activity, especially so important, even in everyday life, any physical outdoor activity, people underestimate the value of it.
Yeah.
And now
Yes.
that
Yes.
we
They
are
do.
indoors the whole time, I hope now at least people realize fresh air, like even 15 minutes in the sun makes such a huge difference. So,
Oh yes, fresh
terrace
air
pe
and the
jaake
sun
आओ
as well.
कुछ नहीं तो.
Absolutely. Sun as well. Just being exposed to sun for 10-15 minutes is so important. That's something that
Yeah,
doctors and health experts always keep on saying, that you
yeah,
need the sun at least 10-15 minutes. Make sure that you go for a walk or on the terrace, as you said, or if you're getting it in the balcony. It's something of that kind. A lot of my friends have also started going on treks now, because that also is into isolated places. But just going there an
right.
entire day, spending with your packed lunch boxes with water bottles, just going there and getting yourself involved in some of the other physical activity, very important.
Wow. How is it like your friends are going for treks? So are there other people there as well? Like, is it crowded or is it not? I mean, they are able
No,
to
no, so
find certain areas which are not crowded,
yes, so
perhaps. There.
that's right. So they're able to find these smaller areas, because see, going to Manali, Kashmir, and those places is obviously not possible right now. So in Maharashtra itself, there are certain these isolated places that a lot of these adventure enthusiasts have spoken about on social media. So that's how they go on their bikes searching for these places, isolated areas. They just go in for a nice walk. And many of these trekkers also are at times, photography enthusiasts. So they have their
Mm-hmm.
big
Yes.
DSLRs, good cameras. So it also helps their social media pages when they are trekking. Vlogging has also taken a completely new turn. You not only write, but you also vlog, you
Yeah.
take videos, and then you talk about it while explaining pictures. That is something that the viewers like. So that's how
Yeah.
social media has evolved, and that's how people are taking health, fitness, and social media.
That's amazing. That's an amazing way to combine your work and your life and do something you enjoy as well at the same time. Nice.
Yes, yes, that's right. That's why we talk of these YouTubers as well, and all of these just doing what they enjoy, maybe creating
Yeah.
content, or maybe playing, or maybe teaching as well. I have many friends who are teaching cricket or kabaddi online now. They have their own pages, and they do it
Yeah.
at home, just giving online lectures. That's the way to go ahead now.
Yeah, for sure. Like create opportunity out of adversity. Yeah. I mean,
Yes,
that's how life, that's what life is about, actually.
absolutely.
There's no dearth of challenges in life. You just have to accept them at some point. Um,
Oh yes, and these times have definitely taught everyone that you need to
yes,
find something. I mean, there are
yes,
so many things that have stopped. So there's always something that you have to search for, and that is what everyone has done right now. And we are hoping that coming the year end and by 2021 starts, we'll be back to our routine, and we'll see Soumya Swaminathan participating in more competition now on all the board games. and you'll see a lot of action not only in chess but in other sports as well. It's important for everything to get back to normalcy. Schools, colleges, and everything needs to get back. For the kids as well,
Yes.
going outdoors and playing, they are being restricted right now by parents, and I can obviously understand that because of the danger or the threat that still exists outside. So it's important to still stay indoors, maintain social distance, and always wear a mask. That's one thing that we like to tell all our viewers on One Play Sports. We still are
Yeah.
not away from the threat of COVID-19. Always important as much as possible. Stay home and always keep wearing masks whenever you are in a public place. Maintain social distance. And one thing which is important element, an important accessory for us. You may have your watches, you may have your jewelry, but the most important accessory now is your sanitizer. Is something that you always need to carry. All of us, we have big bottles with sprays now everywhere that we have. Anyone
Yeah.
comes in, anything there's a fruit, there's a bread coming, we directly first of all attack it with a sanitizer, making sure that there's nothing of outside jumps on it, keeping it in a corner. So all these things that we are learning in the past 6 months.
Yeah, actually, I have a funny story related to this. I
Yeah.
even wear gloves. Okay, I'm like super cautious.
Okay.
I wear a face shield, gloves, everything when I'm going out. I look like a paramedic myself. And the other day, I got a box of disposable gloves, and no brand promotion here, but I was so amused by the name of the brand, glove brand. The name was Penguin, and it's ironic because penguins neither have palms nor fingers. So where will they wear the gloves? It's so funny. I couldn't get over it.
That
So
was a
yeah,
strategy for that. That was a strategy of selling gloves.
I don't know what was going on in their mind. They just found it amusing, perhaps. Let's name this glove brand Penguin. Anyway, it is, yeah. I also saw
Yes,
some
but these
masks.
are
They
things.
are really like, there is a mask which is like this and like this, and only the eyes can be seen, and it looks scary. It looks like you have come to rob my house, but you have just come to deliver a food packet. That's it's so scary, that mask. Very funny.
Yes, but this is also a good time to thank all the COVID warriors as well. And a hats off, we just mentioned of all the delivery
Yes.
guys coming in. Now we need
Yes.
groceries, we need food items, and all of them. It's festivity time in India now, so we have all these online accessories that we wish to order. But these
Mm-hmm.
are these boys who are constantly delivering everything at doorstep. It's important for you to not step out. So during the when the lockdown started, it was important for us to have the groceries, vegetables, fruits, and that's when we had the delivery of it happening to our doorstep. So a big thanks to all these COVID warriors, and of course all the doctors, clinics who are working around the clock in making sure that the pandemic just ends and making sure that there is no more loss of life. I mean, of course, it's difficult for someone to be cured of it, but to make sure that there is no loss of life, which we have faced quite a lot. So that's the sad part of COVID-19. But now, of course, mortality rate has come down, and that's again a big thanks to all our scientists who are again coming up with more and more medicines, and of course to our doctors and health workers. And a fabulous job being done by the health workers across the country and across the
Yeah,
world, I must say, across the globe.
definitely. And also huge thanks to all the institutes which are doing research on producing a vaccine, which is I actually read just 2 days back that perhaps Biocon is going to come up with a vaccine in June. There have been many such claims by various
Uh,
companies, and hopefully one of them will come up with a vaccine soon. That would be a great cause of cheer.
yes, absolutely. Hoping for that to happen soon, and also hoping for round number 8 to also start. So round number 7, pardon me, we're done with 6 rounds. So hope that everything is fine at the back end with ISF, and of course it's the virtual platform. That's the premium chess. So in the meanwhile, if I can request my producers, we can quickly have a look at the tournament details about how kids had registered in this, about how we had the different age categories and prize funds that the under 14 and under 17 kids have been playing for. There we go. This is the first ever ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020, which is being played on the virtual competition platform, that's Premium Chess. Participation of boys and girls from 35 countries and 5 continents. And ISF allocated broadcasting rights to One Play Sports. And they signed a partnership agreement to broadcast 3 rounds of the competition. That's the under 17 qualifications and the finals of the under 14 boys and girls and the under 17 boys and girls to the One Play Sports platforms. That's their website, Facebook, and the YouTube channel. These are the rules. The players were divided into 2 age categories. That's under 17 and under 14, under 17 for those born in 2003, 0405. Under 14 is the category for those born in the year 2006 and 7. All tournaments are being played in the blitz time control. That means every player has 3 minutes thinking time and 2 seconds increment per move. The qualifiers were of 11 rounds and the finals are of 9 rounds in the Swiss system format. Each tournament started at 1400 hours UTC, 7:30 in the evening, ISE, and 2200 hours SGT. 5 minutes prior to the beginning of each tournament were the technical meetings, and the playing arena is the Premium Chess. That's the virtual platform for this international competition. So what are these kids playing for? They're playing for this. The under 17 kids will have a right to participate at the ISF Summer Gymnasiad in China in October 2021. The under 14 winners have already qualified to participate at the ISF Under 15 World School Games in Serbia in July 2021. And the winners of both these categories will be awarded by a laptop. That's not it. The first 8 ranked players in each age and gender category will get the ISF ranking certificate, while all the rest finalists, all the remaining finalists, will get a participation certificate.
Amazing. So, I guess there is some technical issue perhaps that is being sorted out, and that's the reason the games haven't started yet. Maybe they are looking into it. I mean, they're definitely looking into it, and as soon as it will be sorted, the games will start. Meanwhile, Chaitanya, I was just checking the IPL score.
Yes, Soumya?
So I was just checking the IPL score meanwhile as we wait for the matches to begin. And today, MI is playing Rajasthan Royals, and it seems they have scored 195. And oh, the games have begun. Wow, that's
Oh
wonderful.
yes. We are
So,
back. We are back with round number 7, and it's Albert taking on Mani Jahedi.
okay, what is this F4 interesting way to tackle French? I have never even seen this move against the French. Second move already, it's new to me. So, so he will play d4 if allowed. I think Black should have played d4 himself. He didn't go for it. He doesn't go for d4. Okay. c4. c4 with the idea to play bishop to c5 and stop white from making a short castle. But the problem is, for let's say I play c4, white can still play d4, pawn to d3, which is impassant, bishop into d3, and then try to put the knight on d4, and that would be okay. He definitely needs to play d4. I don't think white can survive without playing d4. The bishop on c5 is a monster, and it needs to be blocked. Let's see what white goes for. h3 even. I don't know why white is playing so passively. I mean, perhaps he's feeling a little jittery because he's leading the tournament. Because h3 is a very passive move to make. There is no need to play. Oh, he did not like, you know what he did not like? He did not like d4, pawn into d3, bishop into d3, knight g4. But, you know, even in that case, I could have played knight d4. So I don't know why he did not play d4 immediately. He allows black to play d4. This cannot be good. Quite surprised with the way white has handled the opening. Let's see if he manages to create some tactics. So now d3, white is planning to play queen a4, attack the c4 pawn and take it. Knight f5. He supports the pawn on d4. He's also threatening knight g3 now.
Yeah.
Queen a4, is it still a move? Queen a4. अच्छा नहीं he did not allow it. ठीक है. I like white's position. I like black's position. I'm just wondering about queen a4 now. I think black can play queen d5 for queen a4. He took c into d4. Achha. Knight into d4. Knight into d4, queen a4 nahi aa raha hai because b5. So knight c3 he played. Achha.
Black also
This
has
is
a time
very
advantage, almost 1 minute extra that he has in comparison to white.
Yeah, no, bishop e6. It's super awkward. Achha, even castle. Yeah, even castle. It's super awkward for white. Just look at his pawn on d2. I mean, he can. And the bishop on c1. I mean, that pawn on d2 is so unhappy right now. Imagine if the pawn was on d5 instead of d2, yeah? That same pawn. And then white would have been super happy. Not super happy, but at least okay. Still, he has problems with his king on e1. But okay, he has something in return. But now the king on e1 is stuck. So are all his pieces. Bishop e6 now, I think, would be a good idea. Bishop e6. b5 is also good. Yeah, b5 is also good. Just keep the pawn on c4. You can even develop the bishop on b7 now. Acha, this is also fine. Do you think f4 was a mouse slip? Hard to be a mouse slip, no?
But it's possible, right? In this format, sitting home with the mouse, it's quite possible.
Instead of
Has
d4,
he
he
run out
played
of time? Has Mani Jahedi? Yes. Mani Jahedi has run out of time. So the table topper has
something
run out
went
of
wrong
time.
in the break. Something went wrong in the break because he was in good
Yeah.
form. He was on full score, I guess, or maybe on five and a half at least. And this game, he was completely out of sorts, even on the board, even on the time. He needs to get back to his previous mood, play actively, not agree to play cramped positions. He needs to play actively. He can come back.
Yes.
There are still two more rounds to go. He can come back.
But that can happen, isn't it? There's a break somewhere, your concentration just goes haywire, thinking of something else, coming back suddenly. And this is perhaps is what we see from Manu Jahedi. He'll definitely come back. He has time. In the meanwhile, we go on to Rastagli.
Hey, oh, so now he's threatening rook a2. Ah, no, bishop on b4 is also hanging. So rook a2, bishop c4, king moves, bishop into a2, knight into b4. The bishop on b4 is also hanging, so he protects it. Now black definitely needs to move his bishop. Bishop e6 is likely. Bishop e6 is likely. He played knight d4, now rook into a2. Oh, he blundered. Oh, bishop e6. Bishop e6 and black was so much better. Nah, time pressure problems. Rook e3 now. Save everything. Oh, this was a bad blunder by black. It's going to cost him the game. Bishop into d4 now. Same tactic. He fell into the same tactic twice. Okay. Okay. I mean, nothing like he didn't lose a piece or something, but he can. d3, why not d3? Just push your pawn. Rook play. ठीक है, push your pawn. Or push the a pawn at least. Knight f3, knight g5 आएगा. फिर king mating net पे आ जाएगा. Now he play. Okay, he played e5. अच्छा. That's strange. Knight g5 and rook b1. Or even e6. Rook f1. अच्छा. Rook f7. Rook f7 and rook h7 is checkmate. Time to resign. Yeah.
Yes, and black has a lot of time as well.
Black had an excellent position. He shouldn't have. I mean, if he hadn't blundered, but it's fine. Blitz में ये सब होता रहता है. So black is a piece up. He's likely to win the game, but white has some tactics, and also both of them, as we can see, are playing in seconds. So, but I think black अभी rook f5 आ जाएगा. अच्छा, he played f3. Still rook f5, yeah. अच्छा, bishop e5 check. Okay, good. Bishop e5 check is a good move. Rook g7, and gg. Queen. GG is a gaming term which is often used in chess to tell your opponent good game.
Oh,
So
that's GG. Yeah, okay.
especially if you win, uh, it's like GG. You can tell your opponent good game, but I won anyway. Something like this. And even if you lose, I mean, you tell your opponent good game. So it works
You
both
can do
ways.
that. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Mohammed runs out of time. So that's black who has won this one. No more games being played. No, that's it. So that'll be the end of round number 7. And on top of the list out of 7, score of 6 is for Kevorgyan. So he's on top with Nazari and Mani Jahedi at 5.5. We have 5 who are at a score of 5.
Right. So we have a new leader, Gevorgyan from Armenia, and two players from Iran are on 5.5. Money just lost his
Yeah.
game, which we saw, but still, he's only half a point behind the leader. So he can come back. And there is Jan Isik, whom we have followed a lot throughout the tournament, Arash, whom we have followed a lot. So there are five players on 5 points, two on 4.5 even. I think everyone on 5 and above has a chance to win the tournament actually.
Yes.
So let's see. Let's see
Yes.
how
So
it
that's going to be the
goes.
competition in between of the top 8 there. They'll have a
Mhm.
chance. Anyone of these top 8 can clinch the title and get a chance to participate at the higher competition, and of course chance to win that topper. Because all these competitors, all these participants will be getting a certificate from the ISF, and the top 8, if I'm not mistaken, will be getting a ranking certificate, pardon me, from the ISF. So round number 7 is done. Waiting for round 8, and at the end of round 8, it will be more exciting and see how the leaderboard has changed, and are these top 4 or 5 playing against each other. So that is something that round number 8 is going to tell us. And of course, comes the final round where we'll know who the winner is. Always good for these kids to sit at home, and they'll have instant celebration. If whoever wins, there'll be instant celebration. There perhaps be baking of cakes or some sweets happening in the kitchen. And even if not, of course, you know that you have parents, you have your phone, you will have your friends or the siblings, and you can always get yourself immersed in a good meal. Okay, that's a question that I was coming to. So, yeah, you've traveled to a lot of places for your tournaments. And as a teenager, whenever you visited, for example, when you went to Argentina, so any local cuisines that you ever got a chance to indulge in, or were you always away and just maintaining a good, decent diet to be fit for the match or for the game that is coming up?
As a teenager, you never have money, so you don't really eat out. That's, it applies to everyone, whether you're an international
No.
sports person or a college going kid. So yeah, I never ate out or something. I just ate whatever was given in the buffet, and most of the times nothing. It used to be nothing because I was a vegetarian, and I had serious food issues when I was a teenager. I have survived a lot of tournaments on watermelon and rice.
But I understand, because
Then
going
at
to
some
Argentina and places like that, and if you are a vegetarian, can be a little challenging.
Yes. Then at some point, I decided I'm going to eat whatever is given to me. Like I don't care whether it's vegetarian, non-vegetarian, anything else. I'm just going to fill my stomach. So I got my priorities sorted at some point, and now, of course, I do eat out. Like now, once I have become a senior player, I do eat out time to time. Um, in China, there are many interesting things that you can try but never like. You can just try them and then decide never to eat it ever again. And uh, I like pasta in general.
Yeah.
So I'm always happy to eat ravioli, especially. Um, and I think the food in Italy has been the best that I have had so far. Like, of course, apart from Indian. Um, and because there you realize how pizza is supposed to taste as opposed to the pizza you've been eating all these years. You realize, oh, this is how it's supposed to taste. Acha. It's very different actually from what we eat here. At least very different from Domino's and Pizza Hut that we are used to since we are a kid. Because it's first of all very thin. The pizza there, it's almost
Okay.
like roti, the base. And they make it with so much love. They really love cooking. They make it with so much love. Like it's almost as if a loved one made the food for you. And every time they'll ask you, whichever restaurant you go to, like even if it's a small cafe, big cafe, whatever, they'll ask you time to time, come to you and ask you whether you like food, you need something more. They're so interested in knowing, finding out whether you like it, something needs to change. So yeah, I really liked the food in Italy. That was the main memory. That is the main food memory I have, apart from
Okay.
the rice
Okay.
and watermelons.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, because Italians, if I'm not wrong, also consider it, or many consider making food also as an art. I mean, it's not only about
Yes.
filling others' stomach; it's also about
Yeah.
designing and making like the best paintings, making the best cuisines, making the best dishes possible. And so that's where the feedback, wanting feedback, becomes very important for them.
Yeah. Definitely. Also in Russia, whenever you go to Russia, you realize they eat a lot of salad. There is so much salad with every meal, breakfast, dinner, lunch, whichever meal you eat. They always give so much salad on the side, and you realize, अच्छा मतलब beetroot तो उनका favorite है. It's their favorite vegetable on this planet. They eat beetroot with everything, including, of course, borscht. Their main dish is borscht in Russia and all so former Soviet Union countries, which is mainly made out of beetroot. So
Okay.
yeah, it's their favorite vegetable. That's why their
Also,
cheeks
so
are
it,
also
it
so red. Sorry.
okay. Yeah. So it must be a challenge to first of all deal with cuisines, yes, but also the climate as well. I mean, you're talking of Russia and places like that, and I'm sure that tournaments are not timed to make sure that it's comfortable for Indians or Southeast Asians to come and stay. So for someone
Yeah.
staying in a pretty hot and a humid temperature area since birth, going into a, say for example, Serbia or Russia in winters must be quite a challenge.
Earlier, yes, it used to be a challenge because I was not, before this social media and this accessible, this online, all these online shopping websites came up. It was a huge challenge to even buy winter clothes if you live in
Yeah.
Pune, especially, in Maharashtra. I mean, there is no concept of snow over here, right? So, at least if you live in North India, let's say even Delhi, even if you live in Delhi, you have
Yeah.
a lot of access to winter clothes. So that itself used to be a challenge. Normal winter clothes कैसे लेना है life में. And but now that all this online shopping has started, and also on social media, you can just Google it, yeah, like what is the appropriate layering you should do for this climate, and you get the answer. So everything has become so easy nowadays, and you can travel anywhere. As I read somewhere, there is no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. So if you're dressed
Oh yes.
appropriately, you are good to go for any weather, any country, no problem. So now there is no problem. When I was a kid or even as a teenager, this used to be a huge challenge.
Yes, yes, that's right. I mean, you just need to do a little bit of research of that place as well when it comes to the climate, and go ahead with the good clothing, comfortable clothing, so that you can keep yourself healthy,
Yeah.
depending on the climate of that particular place. Okay, so we're still waiting for round number eight to begin. They've taken quite a long time now since
Yeah.
the end of round six, if I'm not wrong. Usually the break is a maximum of 3.5 minutes. But maybe the software is taking time, or maybe the referee is giving in some instructions, do's and don'ts, something in the software, quite a possibility. So we will just have to wait till the penultimate round begins.
True.
Yes, in the meanwhile, any questions from our viewers, feel free to send us your questions in the comments section on Facebook or on YouTube. So we'll have them answered from Soumya. Also, any reviews, any feedbacks you have about our broadcasting of the online chess? This is the first time ever chess and international tournament online is being covered like this. So if you have any feedback, any reviews to be given, feel free, and we'll make sure that we incorporate those changes or feedbacks or reviews the next time that we are broadcasting an online chess tournament or any online tournament in the future. And we see online tournaments being the need of the hour, at least by the end of this year. We'll be seeing a lot of online tournaments by the ISF.
I think it's going to start soon, but let's see.
Yes, it's 9 rounds.
Maybe there is
7 are done.
appeal. Yeah, maybe there is some appeal going on, and that's the reason it's taking so much time because the
So appeal
technical
for
committee needs.
cheating, or what? I mean, appeal happens in
We
what
don't know.
cases?
Yeah, we don't. It can happen in many cases, either cheating or let's say some player lost due to disconnection, and they were probably connected. Their net was fine, but they still got disconnected from the server. Then obviously it's not their fault, right? It's the server's
Yeah.
fault. So then also you can appeal maybe. So there can be some appeals. I don't know what is the situation.
Yes, I mean, it can be challenging because you're playing on your networks, on your Wi-Fi's, on your available network connectivity. And if it breaks, I
Yes,
mean, it's unfortunate, but there might be some protocol or regulations regarding that.
right.
So, is there a set of rules that you are generally given at the start of a tournament? What basic do's and don'ts about when you're visiting a country? Okay, we'll come to that later. Meanwhile, we have the eighth round that has begun, and we go to
Right.
the live action of Farad Nazari, ranking 2298, and Albert Yavogyan, who's on the top of the leaderboard at the ranking of
Mm-hmm.
2170.
Mm-hmm. So this is an anti-grunt field that white has opted for. Knight c3. Mm-hmm. Knight c3. I don't think they usually play this move. Okay. E5 now. Yeah, maybe they do. Maybe they do. Yeah, now e5 is okay, right? Oh, I thought you play e5 and then develop your bishop on this diagonal, like the f8, a3 diagonal, let's say on c5 or d6 or e7 even. This is awkward, right? Bishop on g7, pawn on f6 doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. Maybe he'll put his pawn on e6 and go for short castle. I think that's what he'll do. No, he doesn't. So he wants to play bishop g4 next. I'm quite sure. He'll play bishop g4 now. He can even play queen b4 actually. That is also possible. Let's see. Let's see what he goes for. Both moves are possible. F5 is awkward because of e5. So that's out of question. Still, f5, e5, queen b4, but it would be very awkward. Using too many tempi and not required. He's taking his time. He's making a decision. Yeah. So he decides to be in the middle game. He doesn't go for queen b4. He plays bishop g4. Next move, he's going to take on f3 and take on d4. So white could play bishop e3. Then white takes on f3 and spoils white structure, which is fine. g into f3. And then maybe long castle is an option. Yeah, I think bishop f3 will be played. He played queen b4. Okay, but then why did you go bishop g4? How about bishop f3 now? Oh, he doesn't want to play bishop f3 because it gives up the e6 square. So he's a little hesitant to give up that square, and that's why he's avoiding it. Can you play long castle now is a question I have. D5, long castle d5. Then knight a5 is possible. Direct knight a5. Acha. Um, acha. Bishop e2, huh? It's direct knight a5 played. Black is feeling very uncomfortable for sure because see his plans are not consistent. He's playing
It's
on
also evident
here,
by he
there.
just has half a minute remaining, so he spent a lot of time thinking. It's only
Yeah.
29 seconds for him, whereas Albert in white has almost 2.25 minutes.
Mm-hmm. It's a good point. Queen c7 here would be a blunder because of rook c8. He plays a3. Ah, not a blunder. Actually, you can come back to g3. Yeah, so that's fine. But oh, he blundered a3. He had to go queen b6 or queen d6. He blundered a piece with queen b3, queen b3, knight b3, c4 check. Yeah, he was super uncomfortable in the position, and if you're taking so much time and also not
Yeah,
really following the plan, it becomes very difficult. You need to have a plan, and whether it's good or bad, you just need to follow it after a point. Playing without a plan can lead to disaster,
yeah,
especially when you're playing also taking time. Like at least if you're playing fast, then when you get into an awkward position, you can think and swiggle your way out. Bishop b7 would also work. Oh, white is being so ruthless. He's not like he wants to just crush. He wants to just checkmate black, I think. Bishop d4 checkmate. Yeah.
yes, it is. Quite a move that was by Albert.
Okay. This was fairly easy for white. I mean, he was super comfortable from the opening and did not have to make much of an effort.
Yes, so this will mean that Gevorgyan will still maintain his top position. He was on the top of the leaderboard, was Albert Gevorgyan, and so with this
Nice.
victory, he'll enter a point, so he'll be on top of the
Nice.
leaderboard.
So he's leading the tournament.
Yeah,
That's a good way to go into the lead in the final round. Bishop d8. White is an exchange up, so he is better. The knight on h3 is stuck. As you can see, there is no way it can escape its fate of being eliminated at some point. Queen h5 was possible, but okay. This is also very good. Bishop g5 is also very good. Now bishop e7 wins a piece. Rook c6 is also good enough. Does the job well. Yeah. Jahedi Mani, he was leading the tournament, right? And then he lost the
Yes, he was
last
in the
round of
second
previous
position.
round. Right, right,
Yes, yes,
right,
yes.
right,
He's
right.
just lost his team after that break. I think after round six,
Yeah,
there
that
was
break
a long break.
did not do him good. Yeah, he lost his
Yes.
head, I think. Yeah, this is one problem. White has lost on time here, right? Oh no, he had there was
No,
some
he
lag, I
still
guess.
just survived. Just survived. Yes.
Yeah. It's a normal position. White needs to play faster. He can even claim to be slightly better here. Even black needs to be fast now. He's also taking a lot of that. So rook moves. Um, mm, rook f8 is possible. Rook f8, rook f6. Oh, black was too slow. White won.
Yes.
Black
Time
forgot about the
expired.
time. Yeah. A4 with the idea. If pawn into A4, then rook B6 and the knight is trapped. So rook into A4 is forced. Oh, but now rook B6, rook B6 could have been decisive. Maybe not. I think rook B6 was good. Oh, anyway, they went for a very similar position. Now king B5. Yeah, this is good for white, no? Okay, it's very close, but I think so much easier to handle from white this position. Now b7, b7. Now king a7, knight b8, knight e5, knight into d7. Yeah, white won. Just take all the pawns. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this rook b6, this a4 tactic was nice. When we just entered the game, he played a4. It's quite nice. Acha, black is winning. Black
Last
is winning.
one in this round, I think.
Actually, it's not clear. Oh, now he's winning. He could have played rook a3 instead, and it was but the h4 pawn was hanging. That's why. Okay, okay. Yeah, he's winning. Rook g3 would have been stalemate. Just finding all the stalemate options.
Yes. So
If the
White has
king was on
resigned.
g6 and he had made a queen or a rook, then it was still a stalemate.
That's the end of round eight. One more round to go. Meanwhile, we'll just check the standings. And as expected, yes. So Georgian Albert is at 7 points. So if he wins the next match, he's the champion. And if he loses
Yeah.
and any one among the remaining three wins, then there'll be a tie. And then, of course, it will be the
He
ratings, the rankings that will come into consideration.
He basically just needs a draw. Even if he makes a draw, he's the champion. So he's in a very comfortable position, and Usually people say that it is a difficult position. I don't know why they say that. I think it's a very comfortable position to be in where you only need a draw and you can even win. I think it's the best position, no, to be in. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
uh, yeah, I think he needs to just keep calm and look at it as a comfortable position rather than take pressure about the fact that he only needs a draw. So as long as he does that, he should be fine. Just play
Yes,
a
that's why we'll
normal
have to be
game.
careful about that. Just keep continuing because out of eight, he's just lost one. So his score is
Mm-hmm.
says 7 out of 8. That means he has found his good run, and he should continue it for
Mm-hmm.
just 10 more minutes, and he can have his ticket to an international tournament next year, and also get the delivery at home of a laptop. So that
Mm-hmm.
should be quite an inspiration for Albert Gevorgan to continue his concentration and his good run in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there is Rishabh Shah who's jumped to 15th position. That's good. He was somewhere
Mm-hmm.
around 18th or 19th. The Indian Rishabh Shah is at 15th position with a score of 4. His
Nice.
ELO rating, somewhere if I'm not wrong, was 2239. So he's quite highly rated.
Yeah, his rating on the platform of premium chess is 2239. We aren't
Okay.
sure what is his FIDE rating,
Okay.
but yeah. Yeah, the ratings are nowadays called FIDE ratings. ELO was the
Mhm.
one who invented this rating system, and that's the reason the ratings are named after him. Uh,
Okay.
but
Okay.
nowadays, just to make it like more clear and standard, they are referred to as FIDE rating. But of course, they were invented by a person named ELO, and that's why they are named. So I think it's a really good system to find out the ranking rather than just make it world champion or something. Like even in other sports, I think it would be great if they can consider. I mean, it's like ATP points also, by the way. But in
Yeah.
80 points, I think it comes to zero every year. No, you lose all your points when the year
Mm.
starts, right? It doesn't
Mm.
continue, right?
Yeah.
So it's not about consistency actually. I mean, it is about consistency throughout the year, but then the next year the ATP rankings start again, as far as I know. I might be wrong. So, but in chess, it's about your lifelong consistency, and I think it's a very good measure of where you stand. So, something maybe other sports can look to adopt in their uh, rankings as well.
Is of course always
It also
important
is
to
like
keep winning and your
fair,
rankings keep
right?
going high. Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
also
Yes.
it
It is.
makes like the selection process more fair, right? Let's say you want to select players for the team, you just take their ELO ranking into FIDE rating into consideration and take them in the team. You know, that's the easiest way and most fair and just way. So there is no the probability of an unfair selection reduces
Mm.
to a great
Mm.
extent.
That is right. And yes, quickly, we move on to round 9. Good to see that. And we have Albert Gevorgyan taking on Arash Dagi. So this means if Albert wins this match, he is the champion of the under
Mhm.
17 boys category. If he does not, and if the others win, then there'll be a tie. So interesting to see whether Albert Gevorgyan in black wins this game.
Yeah, but I like White's move knight d5. He's forcing black to take a decision because if he doesn't take on d5 now, then white takes on d6, f6 and doubles spoils black's structure. So maybe black can play e6 here so that his structure is not spoiled after knight f6, bishop f6, queen f6. e6 could be a move which would yeah, I think I would play e6 in this position. Black is taking a lot of time. He needs to take a decision. It's not easy. He does play e6. It's not easy to take decisions where your pawn structure is going to change because your whole structure
Right.
changes, right? So making exchanges, making changes in pawn structure, these decisions are not so easy to take.
Right.
Played knight e3, e5. So he now it's a symmetrical structure almost with only like some small changes. Black has more space. E5 was a smart decision, huh? Like anyway, he needs a draw, right? And he's closing the position. Good. Bishop b5 now. Target d3. Rook b5 is also fine. Targeting b3 pawn. And then queen b8 you can go. अभी knight c4 खेलेगा तो rook b3 मर रहा है. Knight c4 now queen b8. Supporting the pawn on d6, attacking the pawn on d3. You can play bishop e6 next and go knight d7, knight c5. White will probably go f4 next move and then f5. So that is something black should be careful about. He'll definitely play f4 here. Oh, he didn't. Okay. Queen c2 is a funny move. Funny move. I would never have played queen c2 in this position. But oh, he wants to control the a file. Not
Yeah.
sure if it's so important. Ah, he
Close game
wants
here.
to
Both of
put his
them
queen on
equally placed.
a3. Bishop f8 now. Oh, bishop f8. Okay, now knight d6 doesn't work because of bishop f8. So pinning the knight against the queen. If he takes on d5, black can take with the knight, supporting the pawn on e5 with the bishop. Then the knight jumps to c3. d5 is a good move. But can he take knight into e5 now? Queen into e5, pawn into d5. Then black can play queen g5, but then knight f3. Oh, this was this was interesting. But maybe knight e5, black would have taken on e4 with the pawn. Game has become very complicated. Queen c1, I think. So queen b2. I thought black will give up. White will give the b3 pawn and play for attack on the queen side, king side. Knight b4. Where is the knight going? Black also needs to be careful because there is this knight f6 check hanging in the air. Maybe bishop e7. It could be a good move. Bishop e7 could be a good move. Yeah, he does go for that. Rook f1. How about rook f1? And rook is doing nothing on e1, so we can give it some function. Queen d2. Queen d2.
Albert has the upper hand when it comes to the number of seconds remaining.
Acha, but now the e5 pawn is hanging. So knight c3 is something that comes to mind. But let's say knight c3, knight e6, pawn into e6, queen h6. That position is super scary because the queen on b8, it's so out of the game. Yeah, bishop b4 was a good move. which was missed. Bishop b4 was missed by both Arash and me. Bishop b4 is a good move. Now queen g4. Queen g4 would allow e4, so he plays bishop e4 first. Oh, knight on f4 is so good. Knight on f4 controls the whole board. I really like the knight on f4. And now, yeah, now black has got it under control. Now black just needs to play calmly, not make blunders. That's all. He's in full control. Rook f8. Acha, king g7. I don't like king g7. Acha, he wanted to bring the rook to h8. That's why he played king g7. Oh, okay. No, it's not bad. But rook h3, rook h3, rook h3. Oh, no. Now rook g3 and knight e2. Oh, black is winning. Nice.
There we go. Black has won, and that also means that we have a clear champion of the under 17 boys category of the ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020, and that's Albert Gevorkyan. He was leading, and the only way he could have come down is if it was a draw or he lost it. But he did not. He maintained his good run, and we have a clear champion of the under 17 boys category. In the meanwhile, other more games being played. Remember, being in the top 8 will give you a ranking certificate of ISF.
Why not rook b8? Rook b8 was winning on the spot. Why is he not playing b8? King c8. Both of them are missing this rook b8 idea. Rook d6. Okay, rook d6 or king c8. Now rook into c7 आ जाएगा. ठीक है. White will still lose. अभी रुक g7 आएगा. अच्छा, रुक g7 को बिशप h5 आ रहा था, so रुक h6 is better with the idea कि रुक h5 को रुक pawn to h5 and g6. Yeah, now this is easily winning for white. Needs to be careful. h5, g6 and g7. Yeah, you can even now h6 and h7. Yeah. Okay then.
Arad Nazari wins this because Black has resigned. Just quickly look if any more match games are being played, and I think that is a wrap. Just have a look
Yeah.
at the final standings. We know who's winning it, and that's Gevorkyan Albert with a score of 8. And yes, so good played there. Good work by Albert Gevorkyan.
Amazing. Congratulations to Gevorkyan for winning the whole tournament with 8 out of 9. He was super consistent. I think he won so many games in a row. I think he won the last 4 games in a row or something.
Yep.
Played really well. Last round was excellent. He played really well. And all the players, congratulations to them for playing in the ISF World School Chess Championship. It's a world level tournament that they have participated in, and lots to be proud of. They definitely gave their best. So they should be proud of themselves. And mistakes, let's say they made any mistakes, that they can always be corrected. And if you don't make any mistakes, that means you didn't try anything new. So there is nothing to be ashamed of when you make a mistake. It's just an opportunity to learn something new and grow further. So I'm sure they are going to be very, very happy with their efforts and also work on improving themselves for the next time. Yeah, and it was a pleasure covering this event with you, Chaitanya. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun interacting with you and discussing so many aspects of chess, of the tournament, how the kids were playing, whether it be this particular tournament or the under 17 girls, under 14 boys and girls, which we also covered. I am taking a lot away from this coverage, definitely. Many positives. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Golden words coming from Samya Swaminathan. It was a pleasure. It was a privilege having you on board. And it's been an enriching experience for every one of us as broadcasters and also all the viewers and also for kids who played this. They can definitely get back to the YouTube link, Facebook link, and listen to what you had to say about each and every move that they made. So thank you so much for joining us, giving us your valuable time in giving words of encouragement and your expert advice to these kids on the game of chess. Thanks so much, Soumya.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. And I would also like to thank ISF World Place, One Play Sports and Premium Chess for giving me the opportunity to comment this tournament. A lot of fun for sure.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you for all our viewers who have been giving us hearts, likes, questions. Each one of us who's been a part of the coverage and who has seen this coverage on One Play Sports. Thank you so much. And all good things have to come to an end. And this also has to come to an end. It was three wonderful weekends, covered the qualifications, then the finals of the under 14 and under 17 boys and girls. Any feedback, any reviews that you have about our broadcast, feel free to let us know on Facebook and on our official page as well. But as of now, that's it from us. And thanks for joining in. Thank you.